Welcome to The Lady Killers, a feminine rage podcast. Hello and welcome to The Lady Killers, a feminine rage podcast. I am your host, Jennifer's Body Adams, and I want to be where the people are.
I love the clearing of your throat.
I want to
that.
see.
Yeah, I
I
was
have
like,
to prepare my instrument. Sebastian would approve.
Just like grabbing your microphone off the stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit
You
it.
want thingamabobs? I got 20.
I got 20.
Oh, I should have brought a fork over here to like
comb your hair.
I'm
I
sorry,
know.
Shelby, please, a dingle hopper, okay?
Yeah.
I'm so
Yes.
sorry.
How
Dear
could you forget?
The disrespect. I'm so sorry.
I know.
Mermaids out there,
Yeah.
comment down below.
All
I
of our mermaid
apologize.
listeners are super upset.
Yeah, our culture is not your costume.
Yes. I get it. I'd be mad too.
Yeah. So yeah, I went to see Little Mermaid in theaters. The Disney Little Mermaid in theaters, because that's how old I am, and it was my favorite for the longest time. I think Beauty and the Beast has overtaken it now, but I love. It's just such a good musical. It's
great.
A lot
Jodie
of
Benson
singing.
is just magnificent. Her voice,
Yeah.
she still does stuff for Disney. Like they just
Aw.
did the Disney Hall of Fame where they like added more people to their little star walk that they have at the Disney Hollywood Studios. And she was like the presenter and sang before and everything. So she's still tied up in that Disney world. She's still
her
networked
cameo in
within.
Enchanted was enchanting. It was so
Yeah.
fun when she was in Enchanted.
It's just so good. It's got Les Poissons, which they took out of the live action movie, and I was horrified.
I
They
haven't
did?
seen it
I didn't see
because
the
I'm
live
very
action one.
anti-live
Yeah.
action, so
It was.
I can't do it. Mike is
was
a big
nice.
Little Mermaid. Like he had like Little Mermaid sheets and like he had the toy, the one
Really?
that went to the bath. Oh, he was big.
It's
Big
a
Little
good
Mermaid.
one, you know.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
real
I
good.
can't blame him. I'm sure his dad was super stoked on it, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Amber, like I'm gonna get my because I had the same doll, the one that you would put in the bath. And she
Uh-huh.
would
Yeah,
soak
and then you
up
put it in
the water. Yeah,
Yes,
that was.
yes.
And she had like kind of stringy, like almost like
Mhm.
Raggedy Ann doll hair. Loved her.
Yes.
She always was there for bath time. Quintessential.
Why are we talking so much about the Little Mermaid, you may ask? That's because it's Mermaid Month down at LKHQ. We are
Wicked
going.
Witch, flip it around.
Yeah,
Mermaid
that's
Month.
right.
Yeah.
We're good.
MM,
Sorry.
WWMM. Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Yes, I'm cool. I can do it.
You got it.
So yes, we are going to be diving into the world of cryptids and mermaids and killer women with killer voices. And I'm so excited. We are kicking it off with The Lure. But I'm not alone. I'm joined by a fabulous panel of mermaid experts. Rachel, say hello and tell us what's your go-to karaoke song.
Hi, Rachel here. And I don't know if I have a go-to karaoke song. I think
Really?
that implies that you do karaoke.
karaoke.
Uh-huh.
You have to like engage in karaoke to have a go-to.
Yeah.
You know, what do I sing? I sing a lot in my car and that kind of stuff, or a
Clay
mouth
Aiken,
and lyrics
mostly.
along at
Yeah,
work.
that's her favorite
Mostly
album.
Clay Aiken, mostly
Then she goes under
you
Ruben
know.
Studdard because he's the one that really won.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
real winner.
The real
Please.
American Idol winner. Come on.
I remember that season. I definitely sing a lot of
Doesn't.
American Idol, a lot of Adam Lambert, Kelly Clark.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Listen,
Yes,
we're kidding.
actually.
If you haven't listened to the
Kelly
episodes where we
Clarkson
talk,
deserves to be
They
there.
have- yeah.
okay?
that's true. Yeah.
He is actually very talented. From Justin
He
to
is,
Kelly
yeah.
is
But,
cinematic masterpiece.
Listen, if there was like an emo karaoke night, though, I would be all over
Sure
that.
there is somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah,
because,
or just like karaoke and you pick an emo song because
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
know
people
exactly.
do that. The millennials
Yeah.
love the emo songs, myself included.
I got it. Throw on some Panic at the Disco.
Yeah,
throw on
same.
like any Green Day. Like I will know the words, which I think is the cat. Like you have to actually know the
You
song
have to
really
know
well.
the
Yes.
word. You have to know the song.
You can't just
yeah.
put a song that's kind of like, oh, I like this song. Like you have to
Yes.
be
Yeah.
able to not have the screen in front of you and still know what's coming next.
You got
know what I
you
mean?
got to
Yeah.
know where you're going.
Mhm.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a
Exactly.
Love Island
rough. It's
karaoke
rough. Yeah.
night,
Oh,
isn't it?
yes. That
My-
was
like anytime
painful.
people who aren't supposed to sing that are like really bad at it, it makes me so I get so sad. It's like watching a talent show at school and you're like, oh man, I can't look
Yeah.
away, but I have to.
Like if
Or-
someone
yeah.
decides to like sing at a wedding and like
Oh,
a family member. I don't know if you guys have
could
been in
you
one of those. 'Cause
imagine
I
if
have.
I walked out and was like, all right, I have a little ditty to
Oh my
sing.
god, what if you
Gift to
sung
you
all
is
the
my
way down the
song.
aisle? Yeah, you had sung yourself down the aisle.
I can't fathom ever
I've seen those
needing to be the
weddings.
center of attention that much more on my wedding than to be like, and put down the lights. I'm gonna crank one out for you
Yep.
guys. It's so embarrassing when I see it happen. And they pick like the sexy songs, and I'm like,
They
your
dude,
family
they
is
always
out
pick
there,
sexy
girl.
songs.
Yeah,
Yes.
hate it. Can't
Yeah.
handle it. I'm sorry, listeners, if you sang at your wedding. I would hope that someone told you were bad and you didn't do it. If you thought of it, or maybe you're really good, and
Like, maybe you're
if that's the case,
amazing.
send me
Yeah.
a video of it, because I'll
I
believe
feel
you
like
when
when
I
they're
see
really
it.
good, they like don't want to do that. I feel like
I
the ones who
know,
are like,
exactly.
exactly,
Yes.
exactly. Someone is listening right now and is like, "But I'm a good singer.
I know.
but
I'm
I'm
a
a good,
good
but not
singer."
me though, right? But not
Correct
me
me
though,
if I'm
right?
wrong,
Yeah.
but as far as we know, Taylor Swift didn't sing at her wedding. You know, she brought in
There
Paul
are
McCartney.
rumors though that her and Travis did a duet, at Madison
No,
Square
I
Garden.
hate
The,
it. We
the
gotta
most
move on.
romantic
I
spot
can't-
in
I
the
haven't
The
even-
world.
duet is the
Yeah.
Hate it.
worst.
Makes me sick.
Save it for the
Okay.
bedroom,
Yeah.
I don't need that
Get
shit.
out of here. Yeah,
Kinky
fucking basketball
karaoke.
court.
Yeah.
Can't.
Well, Sammy, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, this is Sammy. At night I get cravings that aren't wholesome, Ruffman,
Ooh.
because I like some night cheese. I like to sneak to the fridge. in the middle
Working
of the
on
night.
a night cheese.
And I sing that song
Yep.
when I go to get
You
my
have
night
to.
cheese.
It's illegal to
Yeah.
eat night cheese
It's
without
part
singing
of it. Like, it's part of the
Mhm.
routine.
It's like a ritual. It really is.
It'll come, like, I'll be 85 years old going to the fridge for night cheese and singing that song.
Mhm.
So when she sang that, I was like, I too, you thought maybe I
She
was going in
saw
a horny
all in that
section.
moment.
No.
Yeah.
When
Snacks.
she wrote
It's
that.
snacks.
Yeah.
My unwholesome trait is the ability to eat every snack in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And my go-to karaoke song, I do it every time because, as Rachel said, I know every word and I know like each, like where it goes, like how her voice says or sings the words. It's Ain't It Fun by Paramore. It's a banger. It always gets the
a good
people
one.
like up and they're
I've
stoked on
seen
it.
you do karaoke to that
That
song
is
before.
right. You have
Yes.
seen me do that. So
I have.
So I I'm a lot of people.
Sammy
have.
has a beautiful voice, by the way, everyone.
Oh, stop! I'm no.
You
I,
do.
I
You can
I can at least carry a tone or
you
two.
carry yes, you can carry a tune, which is, girl, that's a lot more than most people who
I
carry-
do.
Yeah.
I attribute it to
Uh-huh.
my 3 years in choir because of my laziness, and I didn't want to take a foreign language. So they were
Uh-huh.
like, "You can do an art 3 years," and I was like, "Sign
And then they're
me
like
up."
singing Spanish. Here you
Yeah,
go. Singing
no,
German.
Fortuna.
And I'm
They
like,
give me all to, and I'm like, I don't
well,
know
that's
what
a
any
banger,
of these words
though.
are.
That one
It is a
fun.
banger.
Here's the thing,
but
though.
it-
You don't have to know what it means. You
I
just
just
have to know how to
gobbledygook.
pronounce it. Yes.
I literally was just saying words that like hit the tones, and I could have been chanting to like the devil. I don't know, but it was
Yeah.
it was just weird words. I used to do that in the car a lot as a kid. I would pretend I made up languages, and I was like, I wonder if I just said something in Chinese, and I don't know if
When
I
I
did.
was a
You
voice
don't-
major,
yeah.
we had to learn the IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet, because you sing so many songs you don't understand the
Yeah.
words. And it was always my first thing. She always made us translate it too, and I was like,
It's a beautiful song, but I
yeah.
just
Oh,
I
it is.
couldn't-
It's a good one. Carl Orff.
a lot like the
Personal
music of this movie that we're here to talk about. Loved all the music.
Uh-huh.
Love the music.
I
Yes.
wish I could have sang along because
Yeah.
it's hard for me. It's hard. The only song
I
I
also
can
have
do
some thoughts on the translation too.
It's rough. There are a
It
couple
is.
ones where I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't think
there
what
were
they
a
were
few that
trying
I was like,
to
that
say.
can't be. That can't
Yeah.
be what those words are. Yeah.
You don't play volleyball with me, okay? And it was so
We're
stern
gonna
and
talk
so
about
and out of nowhere. I was
what?
like, when was volleyball ever introduced
You
to
told
the
us to
plot?
expect that line too, and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
when it came, I was like, it was
was
just
so
Is
as
it
good. It
as
was
good as you thought it was gonna be?
Yes.
good as I
Yes,
thought it would be.
it really was. It was just as jarring.
In
if
fact, I
didn't
kind of
know.
had a Leo moment of like, she said it.
That's
Like,
it.
oh, there it
That's
was.
it.
Yeah.
Shelby, say hello and tell us what's your go-to karaoke song.
I'm like Rachel. I don't really do karaoke. Like,
I mean,
Yeah,
just
just
wait
we
till
did
we
karaoke.
get in town and we're
Yeah,
gonna-
I just
I'm
don't.
willing.
I'm going to
will-
find a bar near Midsummer that is doing like all karaoke, and I'm
Karaoke.
gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
And be
I
like,
usually
we're going to
like
dinner."
avoid karaoke birthday parties, just like not just because I get real shy when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
The last time I did do karaoke though, it was one of those places where like your group could like rent a room, like
Yeah,
a karaoke
me too.
room.
Yeah.
So it was me and like a bunch of friends, and I did do Do You Believe in Life After Love by
that's
Cher.
a good one.
And
And
that's
I
a hard
did like
one.
a Cher. Well, I did like a Cher impression. I wasn't trying to
Love
like
that.
make it good.
Yeah.
And then like my friend's girlfriend who like the group did not like and who I was like trying to like though, because I was like, you guys,
It's her.
give her
Yeah.
a chance.
Yeah.
She like turned to me and she's like, I didn't know we were doing impressions, and like stormed out of the room.
Whoa. Whoa.
And that's the last time
Well,
I did
that's why nobody
karaoke. And I
likes
was
you.
like, hey,
Yeah.
you guys were right. She is a bitch.
She's
okay.
not very nice. Yeah. I
Right.
could never fathom like even when someone sucks ass, they come out and I'm like, that was so.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, hey, that sucked. You know, you just embarrassed
Like, and I
yourself in
was
front of
clearly just trying
everyone.
to have fun. That was the
Yeah.
thing, though. She wanted to be like serious. She was like a serious karaoke lady, like where she like, I wasn't taking it seriously. So she like,
Well, then she needs to
got
line up
mad.
for The
And I
Voice
was
or
like,
some shit
see,
because
yeah,
that's not what
that's
karaoke's about. I did
unless you're in Nashville, because that's what it is
Yes,
about
they
in
do go
Nashville.
hardcore. But when I did our song as a Taylor Swift, I did it with her country accent at my birthday. So it wasn't me; it was a version of that, you know.
Exactly.
And I,
I
you know,
was
kept
Cher
playing back
in that
then.
moment, you guys.
I know you were. I
was
bet you were.
Cher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I avoided it for a
I need
long
to know,
time
Jen.
too.
Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
know.
because
gal.
because in Nashville karaoke is a different thing because half the people there are trying to get discovered, you know.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that that's like an actually you can get signed moment.
Yeah.
Not
Yes, it is.
in a
Although,
rented
like
room.
one in
Yeah.
a million, that's probably not going to happen to you if you were in Nashville going karaoke tonight.
Hey, that you know.
It's also
Might.
when you're a voice major too, there are different expectations for you when you
Yeah.
do karaoke. Also,
Mhm.
I don't drink anymore, so that
Yeah.
makes it not
That's
as
the
much
only way
fun.
I get on stage. I don't know
That's
how
the
I did it in
thing.
high school. Like without a
Well,
shot
that's
behind
the
me.
obliviousness of youth, I think, is how I
Yeah.
was doing it in high school. But I avoided it for years, and I was like, no, thank you, I'm good. And then when we moved out here, our neighbors do backyard karaoke all the time, and they found out I
Well,
was a
that's-
musician, and they were like, Jen's gonna do karaoke with us because they always
Pull
want to
that
do like
recorder out.
duets and everything. I fucking hate the
I know.
Sorry, you just
Every time,
triggered
no, I know. That's anytime because there are several trigger words for Jen. Recorder is one of them.
Yeah, that's
So I
very, very
sometimes
true.
try to sneak it in.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I throw all of our recorders in the trash. Anyways, so yeah, then I got into it, and it's fun. It's really fun when everybody's drunk, you know, and I'm not because
And you're not.
Yeah.
exactly because
You probably sound
hilarious.
better than everybody else too, because
Yeah.
you're actually coherent and aware of yourself. You know, I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of people that I don't think remembered the next day. Sometimes myself included, that I sang karaoke the night before.
Yeah. And Corey is not a great singer.
Karaoke.
But he commits. Like he sang Possum Kingdom one time, and I probably have told you about it because it was incredible. He was like down on his knees, like it was
and
awesome.
you were just like,
I was like,
that's my man.
And
That's
I'm
my
taking him
man.
home to my Possum Kingdom. But the trick with karaoke is to pick a song that's good for your voice too. Like if you can't sing very high, don't pick a high
how to do
song.
that.
You
A
know,
lower
Yeah.
register for sure. I'm not out there trying to sing Alicia Keys, you know.
Exactly,
Mariah
yeah.
Carey or
God.
Yeah,
something.
like
Yeah.
even some
Right?
of Haley Williams songs are too high for me. Like if I was gonna do like anything from like All We Know Is Falling, or like it would be it's too high. Like
Yeah.
or All I Wanted, it's way too that note she doesn't even do, like she's only performed it once because it's so hard for her
It's
to
so
do.
high, yeah.
So I picked the lowest register of their songs. And even that one's a little hard at times, but
Yeah.
I've always said I sound better singing male songs than I do female songs.
Same.
Usually.
Okay, so my number one forever is You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette, of
Which-
course.
Because
Yeah.
nothing gets you like
It's a good one.
Seriously. And you get to like
That's my
yell,
favorite
you
to
know?
like sing in my car a lot.
Yeah.
But I've never karaoke.
I always
It's
do
a
it
good
like
one.
Kevin from The Office. You,
You.
But
But my new favorite one is again, I'm stuck in the 90s, is How Can We Be Lovers If We Can't Be Friends by Michael Bolton. It's really fun.
Wow.
Gosh,
I would
I
have
love
never, that's not where I would have pulled out. Gun to my
It's-
head. Never.
It's
Yeah.
so much fun to sing. So, and also Wrecking Ball is a fun one too.
You
so,
love
know.
some Michael B.
I
doesn't he
do.
do
Look.
the saxophone?
No,
or
that's
something?
Kenny G.
Oh,
That's
so
Kenny
sorry.
G.
How could I?
They're contemporaries, you know? And so like my friend and I got really obsessed with this song and we were bopping around. And that was the genesis of our everyone was a different Michael for Halloween last year because one of them was Michael
Love
Bolton
that.
and
Yeah.
she was Michael Bolton, I was Michael Myers, and then
Mhm.
Michael McDonald, Michael from The Office, and Michelangelo.
How
and,
creative.
Donald is a a man.
yeah,
That's
nobody
a-
knew who he was.
I was gonna say no one would have known that one, right? Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would've
and
just
then we
worn, like, the
lost to a
golden
fucking
arches.
Labubu. So we're
What?
still mad. Yeah,
Who?
we're mad. Mad
That's
about
not
it.
even creative. Like it's like, yeah, they hang off of every kid's backpack. Like who cares?
Exactly. I know. Look, I'll share the
I'm
pictures
like
because we
personally
committed.
offended.
One of them was Mike from Monsters Inc. You know, and
Well,
she made like
Mike
a whole
Wazowski.
paper mache
Circle.
thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it was.
cute.
That's cute. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You guys were fucking.
We were
robbed.
robbed. I
Yeah.
was mad. I'll never dress up
Yeah.
again.
New
And I'm
judges
never
next
gonna
year.
like again. All right. Well, that's my story of karaoke fun times. Let's talk about the singers in this movie in our first category, her story.
I am so much happier now that I'm dead. Technically missing. Soon to be presumed dead. Gone. And my lazy, lying, cheating, oblivious husband will go to prison for my murder.
This is a section where we tell the story of the film. Spoilers abound, so listen to your own risk. Silver is a mermaid who swims to the surface and finds herself smitten with a shaggy blonde bass player named Mytek. She and her sister Golden come ashore with Mytek and the rest of his band and begin singing in their cabaret show. Their act is a hit, and Silver starts flirting with Mytek, but he sees her as an animal, and though he's attracted to her, doesn't really see a future together. Until she seems to cast a love spell on him. Siren spell, question mark?
I think that's what the song was when she pulled him into the bath. I think
That's
she
what
was
I
like,
thought too.
Yeah, giving him
Okay.
a little bit of, love potion in there.
Yeah, love
Sticking
potion
it on his
number
mic.
mermaid.
Yeah, yes.
So
My
Golden
favorite
is
scent.
not Golden is not thrilled with these developments, particularly when a scarred merman named Triton tells her that if Silver falls in love with Mytek and he marries someone else, she'll turn to sea foam. While Silver is busy growing closer to Mytek, Golden eats a man she meets at a club. She rips out his heart and drags it into the water to devour.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
I loved it.
Yes. This carnage attracts the attention of a local policewoman, but she and Golden end up fucking, and that's the end of that story because I don't think we ever see her again.
Hey,
I
I
God,
really-
I
I
cannot
think-
wait to talk. Like,
I
what
have
the
a
fuck?
moment that I like because I wrote something about that while I was on drugs.
High?
On
On
painkillers,
painkillers.
listeners, everyone.
On
Because I hurt
painkillers.
my back. And then I watched it again this morning, and my thought was, I could not fathom putting my vagina on a fishy scale that looks like it hurts. It's like
Looks like it
gross
hurt.
and like it doesn't look like a smooth texture. Dry humping
They
that
also
that's
didn't
like
go where-
awful.
I thought they were gonna go, and I probably would have gone as a director. I was thinking she was gonna go for that slit with her mouth.
Me too.
Yeah, me
I
too.
do. I thought we were going to get more on the slit, but instead we
I
got
did
the
too.
pussy rub, and I was mortified. Like I think I would have been more comfortable with the slit action
When she was
than
licking up
rubbing
the
your vagina on
spine.
that.
Right, that's the thing that got me. I was
It's
like,
because I know
was
it's
like-
scaly, and I know
Yeah.
it fit. Like because they purposely made them gross looking. That was like part
Yeah.
of her.
It's just part of it, and they
design.
kept talking about how much they smelled like
Yeah.
fish.
Like
Yeah,
they
just
s-
I.
like-
Ow,
and we're not going
it
to kink
looks-
shame.
No,
but
for sure. If you want to
not
fuck
for me.
tentacles, go for it.
Yeah.
But not that that's a tentacle, but it is kind of we're in the same
Tentacle
ballpark,
adjacent,
You know,
you know.
Yeah,
You do
thank
more
you.
with a tentacle, though.
You could, you for sure. Because like, what are you gonna
Especially
again?
if you got 8 of them.
Oh, that's a whole genre in and of
That's a
itself.
whole
everything.
genre.
Yeah.
The boys.
Man,
Yeah,
I
the
just-
boys.
I couldn't.
Yes.
Because it was like a sexy scene until that, and I was like, bare
Yeah, I was
puss
like,
on the scales. Okay,
Oh, we're
Good
doing
for you. Yeah,
we're doing some
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
So when news of this gruesome murder hits the news, Mytek, the gruesome murder, not the gruesome scale licking.
Scale fuck. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was just for
Mytek-
us.
Mytek and his bandmates start side-eyeing the mermaids. They just now realize that these are potentially dangerous cryptids. One of the bandmates, I called him Bandman, punches both of the sisters to death. Later,
I think he's
Mytek
their dad, right?
Is
like,
he?
aren't they?
Don't
it's
know,
the-
you guys.
Well, they
Can
don't
I don't
say.
know the relationship between these people.
I
Like,
absolutely
dad.
think they were married
Okay.
because
Yeah,
obviously,
he's-
like,
oh,
he
And
leaves.
there was
the
like
ring on.
another
Ring
blonde
Yeah.
lady who kind of looked like the mom.
There is,
but
and
like
I think
wasn't
that's who
her.
he leaves her.
And I thought they
for.
were the same.
They do
person
look
for,
very
like, a
similar.
second.
I
did
I'm
too.
glad I watched it twice, guys, because
Not to like
Yeah.
Polish shame and say all Polish people look alike, but
Polish shame.
I was like struggling. Some of these people
Was too.
looked alike.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, there was a
And-
lot of Norse-looking people for sure.
Yeah.
who
Blondes, lots
don't
of
like
blondes.
seriously factor into the plot too.
No,
So I'm like,
no.
and I want to talk about Chris.
Sorry, Jen. I'm throwing
Oh
you
no,
off
you're
the
fine.
thing. I just
No, it was like I just
No, I
wanted
have these
everyone to know
questions
that
too.
I do think, and from what I saw like online when after I did my little fucking hyperfixation dump,
Mhm.
I did see that most people refer to them as the mom and dad. Like it's her.
Okay,
She's the
and
mom
that makes
yeah.
sense. Yes.
I think it does. Like given the age discrepancy and the situation. Although there are a few times where I was like, does the mom want to fuck her son? Are we like
That's
Yeah.
why I got a little confused. And it
No,
seemed
I
like
never
the
got
dad
that.
knew that
Yeah, that's
I
true.
got that the
There's
dad
a
was
lot
jealous
that's
of her
unclear.
and the son. Like, I don't know, man.
It's a
Okay.
I'm
very
telling you, a lot of
they do
shit
things differently
happens
over
when
there.
you're in
Yeah.
a band, you know?
It really I
That's
can
true.
only imagine. Yeah, that's true. Rachel's like, I can attest to that.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it gets a little weird out there. So,
Yes.
band man, band dad punches both of them in the nose at the same time.
Yes.
Apparently kills them.
I
So
was yeah, for sure.
I know. I
sure.
was like,
yeah. Okay.
But so my tech and Chrissia, who's another band member, mom, roll up their bodies in carpets and toss them into the river or some kind of body of
Water, where they don't famously don't do
Where
very
they
well.
know they
I
will
know.
get
Yeah.
revived.
Yeah.
They should have just left them out of the water because
They
we saw
could
at the
have
beginning
put
that
them in
makes
a
them
hole
sick.
in the ground,
Yeah.
and they would have they would have dehydrated like they did the one time. Like,
It was
Yeah.
really
They took
bad.
them far enough away, and they're like, "There's no way they can at least if
it's like
they
dropping
come
your
back, like
cat
find their way
off.
back."
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not like they can fly, you know. They could just swim.
Mhm.
So the band seems to get poisoned in their messy apartment. Thankfully, another band member nurses them back to health. Honestly, I'm not totally sure what's happening
what
here.
happened
It's
there, you
vodka.
guys?
It's
I think
vodka.
I think
Yeah.
they were just like a little like disturbed
Distraught?
at what they did, and
Yeah.
just kind of like got wasted and passed out, and
Like
it's just,
too wasted.
So okay, because I was thinking that the intravenous stuff was not real; it was like a metaphor. That's
yes,
what I
think there's a
thought.
lot of that happening in this film.
Yeah.
But again,
Okay.
I think
'Cause that
musicals
lady-
typically like they can have you have to suspend your disbelief sometimes.
Yeah.
That
because of the
lady
That's
is
what I
like
was
one of the
thinking.
performers who like revives them in this
Yeah.
singing. She's from earlier. She's like she's doing the like burlesque.
She's doing the
kinda
sexy
show.
dance. Yeah.
Mhm.
She's,
Yeah.
oh my god, her
So
bod, by the way. Holy
I
shit.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
The banana
I
song?
think that so it's like,
banana
oh, their
song.
other fellow like singer co-worker person is kind of like, okay, guys, wake up.
Okay, yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
we got a
Okay.
show to do. The show
Yeah.
must
And
go
Because
on,
I was
yeah.
like, there's
Gives
like
them IV
old
of
timey glass IVs all of a sudden, which okay, and I will
It's
say
vodka.
sorry, Jen.
It's
It's
about
so-
everyone. So
Well,
you know.
sometimes there were things in this movie that I didn't know if it was like too like I didn't understand the Polish culture or if it was
Yeah.
like supposed to be weird for the movie.
Yeah.
So
I can see, I mean,
Two things can be
for
true.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think,
think
so.
both.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Which is when I was just
Okay.
like, Jeebus, take the wheel. I'm just
Yeah,
watching.
that's-
you
You
know.
gotta just roll
on a
with this
ride.
movie.
You have
Yes,
to just
you
let it
go with
happen to
You
you,
do,
I
yeah.
think.
Mhm.
Yeah, just kind of go put your arms back because that's what I did
Yeah.
because I had to lay on my
That was
back.
the only scene where I really got caught up for some reason. The rest of it, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is happening.
It's like,
That was the only one. Was like, wait,
Yeah.
there's
No,
what
this is
happened? What?
happening.
And part of
Yeah.
I think the reason I didn't like it is because their apartment got so messy, and I was like, "Come on, this is gross. I don't want to watch."
I did
Yeah,
like the
come on.
changing of like the camera angles and the lighting
Mhm.
though. I thought
Yeah.
that it was all of a
was
sudden like a
cool.
90s grunge music video, and I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you know, odds are somebody wrote this cool song, and they were like, "We've got to put it in the musical. It's a good song,
Mhm.
you know." So
Mhm.
Yeah.
we'll figure it out, you know. So Silver and Golden are not dead. And after eating some people at Lover's Lane, they go back to the band. My Tech and the bandmates are like, "Oh, I'm sorry I killed you." And disposed of your bodies. Silver seems cool because she's still into My Tech, but Golden bites off Bandman's thumb, which I liked a lot. She's like, "Oh, we're
Me
not
too.
mad." Chomp.
Yeah.
Silver decides to cut off her tail so she and My Tech can have sex and hopefully he'll marry her. The surgery goes pretty well, except Silver loses her voice when she loses her tail, as was foretold by King Triton. Unfortunately, this tanks her singing career with Golden. Thankfully, things are going well with My Tech. They finally have sex and seem to be settling down. But he's grossed out when her surgical scars get blood on his stomach. Because apparently waiting for her to heal isn't an option, they break up.
Yes.
Well,
uh,
So much to say.
I
Also, that
just
really,
don't
it
like
A lot of
it.
thoughts.
yeah.
it freaked me out when I was thinking about her
Most
scars
realistic
still
part of the
Oh,
bleeding.
the
movie,
scars I
honestly.
knew, honestly. Yeah,
Seriously.
for sure.
I know, it's like-
for sure.
Ugh,
Wow.
but
Oh, I can't
she-
fuck you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
find
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
else and get
See you-
married
find
in
somebody
2
else.
seconds. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when Silver and Golden try to figure out what to do next, My Tech falls in love with a producer, and this producer gets married. They get married. Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to say it. It's a new hussy, okay?
Yeah.
And she's moving
a
in,
new- yeah.
and she's
Mhm.
stealing the Lure songs too.
She's
which is-
tailless too.
Huh?
You know, she's got
tailless. Yeah, and we get a
full
clip of My Tech
slit
grabbing her
down.
booty too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm. This is bad news for Silver. She has to eat My Tech before the sun comes up, or she'll turn into sea foam. At the wedding reception, she seems poised to eat him, but she can't bring herself to do it. Silver turns into sea foam. Enraged, Golden tears out Mytek's throat with her mermaid teeth, then returns to the sea. And
Amazing.
that's the lure. I know. Yeah. Bravo. Yes. Okay, so this was a first watch for all of us.
All of us.
All of
Yeah.
us.
That doesn't happen very
Rachel,
often.
it doesn't happen very well. And
No.
we were like, well, I'll tell you my story in a minute. Rachel, what's your story with the lure?
You know, I've heard a lot about this, and I knew that it was a musical in some way, shape, or form. I knew it was about mermaids. I knew it was Polish, but you know, that was kind of the end of it. And so I sort of just put it off watching it, and I'm so glad that I finally had an excuse to like commit and be like, okay, I'm doing this. And like, I find myself in this podcast. I don't know if it's the phase of life that I'm in. I don't know what it is, but I'm finding myself questioning a lot of things. Because like, I feel like I'm like, no, I am not a musical person. Like, I'm not. I do not identify as a musical fan.
Are you admitting
Rachel
that
liked it.
Rachel, what are you about to say to us right now?
I watching cartoons.
I loved this movie. Loved it. From, I mean, the second where it transitioned to the mom's face and they're singing Donna Summer,
Yeah,
I was like,
incredible.
I'm
in.
yeah.
No,
And,
I was in.
You know, I do think there's obviously, I'm not going to say like I love all musicals, but like this was very much my
Pushing
jam.
that itch. Yeah.
Very much my jam. So was thrilled. Cannot, yeah, we have a lot of things to talk about because I'm not entirely convinced I know everything that's going on here. But just really, really enjoyed it. This movie was so fun. So can't wait to dissect it all with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No tails will be harmed in the making of this
That's
episode.
true. Yes, all will stay attached. And Shelby, I thought about you when I realized, because I had no clue this was a musical going in, and I watched it before everybody else, let alone a Polish musical. And I was like, I bet Shelby's going to like this because it's got some repo vibes.
Got some repo.
It does.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
You guys know me
another
so well.
era.
Yeah. Shelby, what's your story with the lure?
My story is that we were in a meeting recently and Jen said something about it being a musical. And I went, musical, because I still hadn't seen it yet. And I was like,
and
what?
by
I had
recently,
no
you
idea.
mean yesterday afternoon.
Yesterday, listeners, yesterday.
Yeah.
And man, I couldn't wait to be done with day job work to fucking turn my TV on. I was like, what is happening?
Sure.
What is it? And I've seen this cover art a million times.
Me too.
I've always wanted to watch it, and for some reason I think it's one of those two that like I didn't want to watch it enough because I didn't know enough. I really didn't know anything about it. And it was like every time I came across it, honestly, it was one of those times where it was like, do I want to read subtitles? Or do I want to put on something else? You know, do I want to put on King of the Hill again? You know, one of those. So I what happened? It was amazing.
So many questions she has.
It's like, I don't even know. Okay, so I just met, weirdly, a Polish guy at a party like last week or something.
Ooh.
And he was telling me all this stuff. It's so funny. A friend of mine, like from across, because they're very like stern people sometimes. And so my friend texted me from across the room. She's like, oh my God, girl, he's like flirting with you. And I was like, we're talking about the prime minister of Poland. What are you talking about? But anyway,
sometimes that gets people going, you know? Okay.
I could not tell he was flirting. Yeah, it was very, but anyway, he told me about how at Christmas they do this thing where they get a carp, like a full alive carp, and they put it in a bathtub in your home. Like you keep it in your home in a bathtub. And then for Christmas, for the Feast of Seven Fishes or whatever, not trying to be flippant to anyone who celebrates. I just don't know what it's called.
No. Yeah.
You as a family go get the live carp from the bathtub that's swimming around, and you cut its head off and you have it for dinner.
It's really weird. The only reason I know that is because in The Exorcist 3, in the book, Kinderman detective is like doing that with his wife. So like that was the first time and they don't put it in the movie, I don't think. But
I was gonna say that I don't remember that in the movie.
I know.
Yeah,
I think I would have remembered that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listeners, if you know about this tradition, let us know. This is fascinating.
Yeah. And then we watching this movie, I'm like, this is also Polish, and there's fishes in bathtubs. So like, what? That's a weird synchronicity going on. I don't know what it means, universe, but sure. I loved this, and it's like, it's not to be like that guy, but it's like not an entry level movie.
No,
like you gotta be into weird shit, and I loved it so much. I'm glad you thought of me, because yes, it did remind me of Repo in many ways. In like, just honestly, that it's like you can't show this to just anybody. You can't be
Right.
like, hey,
You can't put this on with your mom and be like, hey, do
Yeah,
you watch this mermaid flick? You're like,
hey, Grant,
no.
everybody gather around at Christmas, go kill the Christmas carp, and we're gonna watch The Lure,
Lure.
everybody.
Well, it's funny because I put this on. I didn't know it was Polish and I didn't know it was a musical. I just knew
Yeah.
it was mermaids. And I set up my little document and I was like, all right, here we go. And I started watching it. And then I put it on way too late. So I fell asleep
Drift.
around the time after they do their first show where they're wearing like the red flight attendant outfits.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
was into it, but I fell asleep and I would wake up occasionally. And
What a weird
well, the
one to
next
go in
morning
and out of.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is not going to work. I almost emergency texted all of y'all and I was
Like, can we
like,
pick
we're going to
something
have to
else?
watch something else
Yeah.
because I don't know if this is going to work. And then I watched it the next morning fully awake and I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is very much our shit, but also, but it was not at all what I expected. And, I probably don't like it as much as y'all. Like I was very into it, but I don't know when I'm going to watch
That's
it again.
okay.
But
But
it,
I mean, yeah, I
but
didn't
it
know
was
when I was going
really
to watch it either.
fascinating. And I think part of the problem, Sammy, you mentioned is like I wanted to sing along and with the songs in Polish, I just had a hard time hooking into the songs, but they were super catchy. I thought it was staged really well. It's very interesting. I would be curious to see this like on a stage too,
It's super Wes Anderson-y.
It is
like
very
with
Wes,
if like aesthetically, not like story wise, because it's I don't feel like he would make a movie like this, but it definitely looked like Grand Budapest Hotel vibes to me.
Yes, yeah. Well, and we have another connection too, because in Speak No Evil, they mention because they're Danish, they mention Hans Christian Andersen's The Little Mermaid.
They do.
So, yeah, on the cup, right? It's got a mermaid on it. So.
They bring him a mermaid cup. Yeah.
So, Sammy, I saved you for last because I cannot wait to hear the roller coaster you had with this movie. So, what's your story with The Lure?
Well, I think it's funny that when we went, because obviously I was the one that wanted to do Mermaid Month or pitched it,
Yeah.
Listen, guys, how about this? And
hear me out.
This was the first one we all put on, like we all agreed. We're like, okay, The Lure. And so I assumed that meant at least one of us had seen it. But I love that. It was just like all of us were like, yeah, The Lure for sure for the first one. And then when I heard none of you had seen it, I was like, I love that we all came together.
We were all stoked about it. We're like, yes,
because it gives you an excuse to.
Know that like this fits.
He's got sharp teeth on the cover. I don't know.
Scary. And Mike always tried to get me to watch this one because surprisingly enough, he really likes this movie a lot too. Because he saw it at a festival when it came out. And he's been like telling me like every time it's on there, he's like, oh, I think you'll really like this movie. I think you'll really like it. And I have since watched it twice, as I said, since last night. Earlier this week, I hurt my back going down the stairs to the laundry room when the dog came out.
Can we play Sarah McLachlan over this part?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like the dog comes out and I'm clenched and because you're waiting for it and he comes out underneath and I like just kind of lost my footing and hurt my back. It's been really wonderful. I'm loving it. Yes. Well, he's always wrong. I hate that.
Oh, that dog. We've heard about that dog.
You've heard about this dog.
So he's injured me now. I'm taking him to court. And
court.
doggy, he's got a little doggy lawyer. I'm sorry. I object. Give me bones.
He really cute in his suit, though.
I know. Because he's a fucking Jack Russell Terrier, so he looks like Wishbone. So I'm torn.
Well, after Air Bud retired from the NBA, he became a lawyer, so he can.
I figured honestly, like I thought he was gonna pass the bar. I'm so glad that he did.
Yeah, he studied real hard.
I'm sure real. He was so good. Yes, lots of head scratches for him in class. Yeah, some twitch. But so yesterday, finally, Mike was, like, hey, we need to maybe get some painkillers for you because I can't help you shower every day for these days. Like, it was like,
why not?
Why can't you wash me?
Why not?
For better or worse sickness
and
and
health.
health.
It was getting to the point where I just wanted to wash. I was like, I just want to be in the shower by myself for a second.
To be a mermaid. You wanted to let your tail breathe. Yeah.
So I saw Doc and she prescribed me a bunch of different things. So yesterday was my first day on these painkillers. Today I've only taken one because I wanted to be somewhat coherent. But I took notes during this episode, and they are in order of when they happened throughout. It's a chronological order. And that's why I watched it twice because I was a little out of it. So first thing, Criterion Collection, I wrote.
Same thought.
Ooh,
I was like, ooh, Criterion Collection. Yeah.
And then next is
Who
could have been
knew?
in that animation the whole movie, and I wouldn't have minded.
Yeah, that animation
animation
is
I love
gorgeous.
animation, and it's the
Yeah.
director who did it, so I thought that was really cool.
Cool.
They sound like the mermaids in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Was my next.
I had
note.
the same thought.
Thank you.
Wow.
When he puts the egg under the water,
Under the
Yeah.
and
water.
it
I was
sings-
like, did they like
I
steal
had
that
a
from
poster
Harry
of that
Potter?
scene, and he was in the bathtub. I bought like a booklet of all of the like posters from the movie just so I could get the one of Daniel Radcliffe in the bathtub because I was
In the
a
bathtub.
horny
Yeah.
little girl. Yes, and I wanted
it.
that poster. That was
Mhm.
the only reason I bought it. Like chucked the rest of it and was like, I'm just looking for the half naked Daniel Radcliffe. Okay, so that was my next one. Then I wrote Mia Goth and Girl from Obsession. So you
Yeah.
can kind of okay, thank you. Couldn't remember the Girl from Obsession's name.
That's
So
okay.
just wrote Girl from Obsession. Loved them having a Pretty Woman moment when they got to go shopping.
Uh-huh.
That's I also loved the music. That's probably my favorite number from the
Mhm.
movie. I really liked that one a lot.
Yeah.
And that
Love
was
the
when I
little
found myself
detail
I
of
wanna
like
sing.
Golden was the one who wouldn't put on shoes too through the whole time.
Yes, I just it was they're experiencing like a mall for the first time, and I love that type of shit. So dug that. I'm Shelby, this one's for you. I'm gonna start kneeing Shelby in the butt like the guy who owns the strip club before she goes on stage. That's like I was like, when I looked at it this morning, I was like, who is this
Bonkers.
for? And then I was like, it has to be for Shelby because who else would I be on a regular basis with that
Watching
I
them
would
go on a stage.
on stage? So I made sense of that before. Then makes sense that it would be a musical because sirens have songs. Duh, I wrote. And I said it to Mike and he was like, you got it. You got it. Everyone just knows mermaids exist. Like that took me a second. I was like, so we're not hiding our tails.
Yeah.
Everyone just kind of accepted the fact that mermaids
Yeah,
are
they
real.
acted like it was like, oh man, a mermaid again. Like
Another
dealing with this.
mermaid. Like
yeah.
I was having an existential crisis because no one reacted in the way that I think a normal person should react to mermaids.
Like, oh shit, a
or
mermaid.
maybe
she
it's a
much
was-
of
cultural
anything,
thing.
honestly.
I don't know.
Even
but
when he
I
got
was,
his thumb bit off, he wasn't like reacting as much as I think
Yeah.
I would.
yes,
my
like-
thumb got bit
exactly.
off.
He just was
Well,
like, all right, cool. You know,
I mean, he
nothing.
did deserve it. So.
Nothing to
You got
see
me.
here.
Yeah.
They murdered or they murdered them and they still came back. That's like I'm already like this is a
Did
bad.
they murder? They just knocked him out.
He
don't know.
did, but I think they think they murdered them.
Yes,
because
they
Yeah,
do
because
think
like
maybe-
in the like the synopsis, because I read the synopsis too to make sure I was getting the story
yeah,
straight. I was trying to get
everything.
and all the synopses I found said that they were murdered, like
Yeah.
and they came back to life. Yeah,
Interesting.
because of the
okay.
water.
I know, because when you see it, you're like, really? It's just
Yeah.
okay. Yeah,
Look, when I
sure.
was in middle school, they used to tell us not to hit people onto the drinking fountain because it'll
Go in
like
their brain.
exactly.
their
So that was
brain.
like, well, that's what they did. They like nose chopped them.
People
Sure.
did that. That's so awful. I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine. God, like just wait your turn.
Yeah, it was a hellscape back then.
Yeah,
in the
I don't
90s.
like it. The next one was I love MILFs too. She's just like me for real. Because of the wonderful lesbian sex scene that grossed me out at the end because of the scale fucking. But up until that point,
started
it was
so
really
strong.
hot.
Yeah,
It was.
really
I was
was.
like, I am total. I feel her. She's gonna take her to Disneyland. Like she's gonna because that's what the
Going
song
to
says.
Disney.
Yeah, they're going to Paris to watch it. So I wanted to be like, that's actually Euro Disney. So
Mhm.
it's not Disneyland.
Well,
Don't fuck
actually,
this up.
lady,
Yeah.
cop lady,
It's
yeah.
well, the real Disneyland is here. Okay, it's come on. It's gone through many different changes, but name changes, but it's Disney Euro Disney to me forever.
Yeah.
Costuming is very Betsy Johnson coded. She's like one of my
Mhm.
favorite designers. So I also noticed that. Last thing in all caps: men will always let you down. Was what I was left with at the end.
Yeah.
So those are
it's true.
notes brought to you by Sammy when she was really drugged out.
Painkiller,
I
Sammy?
did get some interesting, like this one piece of trivia that I really liked was that they're topless and nude throughout the film because mermaids don't need to wear a bra.
Yeah.
Like they don't feel like they're naked because
They're weightless
I like-
in the
yeah,
water.
they're in the
Yeah.
water. That's like there's no such
And
thing
I
as
feel like
clothing.
those two actresses really sold it. They never felt naked. Like
No,
when they were
because-
naked, they didn't feel naked.
They
Yeah.
have, they have no shame, and I think that
Yes.
was like the
Yeah.
director told them, like you're like why would
they
you have
were-
shame? Like so
Yeah.
just
You're a
you have
mermaid.
no
So
self-
yeah,
you're not
yes.
self conscious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure. They were originally supposed to be teenagers, because they are teenagers in the movie, and they were gonna cast teenagers, but I think it's a little rough to do some of the subject matter that we have here with actual teenage actors.
Actually
So
looked
I'm
up their
actually very
ages at the
glad.
movie because I was like, they looked
They're very
young
young.
at
They
first,
do
and I
Yeah.
look
was like,
young.
And it's
I
weird.
feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Hold on,
Yes.
let me
And they keep
Google
referring to
their
them as
ages
kids.
real quick.
So they,
Yeah.
I mean, they are kids. I don't know what the age of consent is over there, but strange.
That's why I
I'm
worried.
glad
I was
they
like,
didn't.
Europe has some different
Yeah, there's definitely been a couple of
standards,
moments.
so
I also, when
yeah.
I was in the last Spider-Man, Googled Tom Holland's age because I did not want to feel like a weirdo.
He's 30. I did the same
I
thing.
needed to make sure
He's 30,
everything
officer.
was cool.
Okay.
Okay.
He's
Toaster.
married.
He's
Yes,
married.
he
I
is.
know, but I was
Oh,
like, I
I'm
can't
obsessed with
lustfully
him.
look at this man. if
Spider-Man's
he's
on in the other
19,
room right now.
okay? Yeah,
I'm
I'm sure.
jealous.
Like, it's on in every. He was very. I thought he looked very good in the Odyssey.
No, I had
Yes.
the same. That's what I did with this movie. I had feelings, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
hold
for
there,
sure.
hold on
These
there,
two girls
partner. Let's do
are,
some
like,
googling real quick."
yeah.
Okay.
And
And then they're not even
this
much
is-
younger than me, so I was
They're
just
not.
crazy.
They're pretty. And they look. I don't know what they're eating over there. Maybe it's the herring, but they look.
They
really
genuinely
good
like
for
looked
their
very
age.
young.
Yes,
Yeah,
like little
Mhm.
12-year-olds. It's their third movie together. They in the first one they were lesbians. This is the second one that they were mermaids, and then the third they're roommates. So they're very comfortable with
Interesting.
each other. So I think they've done sex scenes together, and so I think that
Yeah,
contributed
that
to like how
sold the
easy they look. Yeah,
closeness.
together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my story.
Sweet.
hope
Well,
you
I
liked
do
it.
want to talk about the nudity because it is a lot, and it reminds me of one of my favorite tweets of all time. Is like, what is the Little Mermaid doing when she looks at her shell friends? Like, are you my friend or are you my bra?
My
Because
bra.
she's
Yeah.
just like she's sticking clam people.
That
Yeah, are
was
they
one thing you
dead?
told
Are
us,
they dead
Jen.
clams?
Jen told us there were a lot of boobies, and
Yes.
you
and
did
she
not
was right.
lie.
And there
I
were,
assumed
but
that it meant like a lot of people's boobies, but it was really just
no,
like
it's just a
really
lot
two
of their
people's
boobies. Yeah. Well, and I think do we get caught boobies? I don't think we do. I think she's wearing.
No,
a
No,
she's
but
in
we
bra.
like
did
that
get
fishnet.
Banana Song boobies.
That's
Banana
true.
Song had-
And man,
yeah.
her show was nice. I liked all of her
Dang.
little like
I loved
dangalies.
her,
Yeah.
her
I
little
was like,
number. It's
ooh.
very like Moulin Rouge,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
burlesque acts, which
Mhm.
I think is because like I've been in my Greek mythology era again because
Yeah.
of the Odyssey, like
Mm.
everybody else right now, and I think this is perfect because it like goes into the mermaid mythology. So
Yeah,
I've kind of already been
absolutely.
there
Yeah.
in my brain, and so
Mhm.
I like this is a retelling of Little Mermaid, and I've been watching so many recently. I'm watching Oh Brother Where Art Thou, which is the Odyssey, and then I read that Moulin Rouge is Orpheus. It's the story of like
He's in
I
Eurydice.
didn't know
Yeah,
that. Yeah, I
interesting.
did not know that. So I was like, I'm finding out little like cool things about these movies that I was like,
Which is
I
so
didn't
interesting
know
that
they
end scene
were
when he's
big,
walking
like-
up the aisle and he
yes,
looks back
and he
and
looks
she
back
dies.
and he fucks up.
Ugh.
Yes.
Mhm.
Sorry,
man.
spoilers for Moulin Rouge, but it's one of my favorite
Spoilers for
movies.
Moulin Rouge. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
we'll cover
And
it
I
at some
didn't know
point.
what it was from, but
I didn't
now
know that
do.
either. That's interesting.
Almost everything we have is based off of something from a long time ago.
Yep, there are no original ideas
Yes.
anymore. Yes, and sometimes it goes right, like in the Odyssey, which you'll hear us
Yes.
talk about on Patreon
Mhm.
soon. So tune in there. Before you hear us talk about the Odyssey, let's talk about the lure in our next category. Who is she?
I just wish we could all get along like we used to in middle school. I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
Do you even go to this school?
Okay, so we have Golden, who is played by Michalina Olzanska, and then we have
saying these names.
I
and
know.
Yeah,
I'm not-
I wasn't even
Just
gonna
like-
try.
like holding on with a prayer. Silver is Marta Mazurek. Okay, so that was
Okay.
with that. Yeah, they're great. And I also like that their names are Golden and Silver because that was very easy for me to type. Their victims: Red Car Club man. Golden kills him, eats his heart, then reptiles into the water. And I love how they were like reptilian movements. And I was like, fuck
Mhm.
yeah.
She like
Then-
human centipedes in there. It's
Yeah,
I
like-
she
love how
sure
gross
does,
their tails
yeah.
are too.
yeah,
Like,
they're
ugh.
icky. They
Yeah,
look
and
like-
super long too.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, too long. It's too,
No,
too-
yeah.
There's no such thing. As
yeah, that's very
Maybe
true.
the
very
mermaid
true.
size
Like,
queen over
yeah.
here.
Mhm.
Thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have our roadside car lovers, and this is both the girls eat them. Then Mytek, and then Silver. Our motive we shall discuss because so many thoughts. Okay, our weapons: mermaid teeth, voices, and I was cracking up at this. The mermaids say the first thing we hear them sing is translated to "Help us come ashore. There's no need to fear. We won't eat you, my dear." And I just imagine like this, like, sure, we won't eat you. I promise. It's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
like
We're not
that's
even
kind of
hungry.
it's kind of a weird thing for you to suggest,
Yeah.
are you sure you won't eat us?
I
And
wasn't
then
even
Said
thinking
we
about
wouldn't
that.
eat you. Yeah.
exactly. And then Golden says, "I love you, but don't tell anyone." And I just really liked that, 'cause she knows she
It
doesn't
was
love that
cute.
guy. She wants him
Yeah,
to go,
it
but
was great.
she was like, "I love you."
You can't show where
Subtext,
you eat
"I'm gonna eat
either.
you later. Don't
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
anybody." So other weapons, love. I got
Hmm.
to talk about my evil alto because they were good singers too. Like
They
they sounded
were. It
great. I
ruled.
loved that the blonde is the soprano, the dark haired
Yeah,
girl is the alto. And it's like she's like a good alto too. She's not an
yeah,
alto by default, it's like she
I was
yeah.
actually
excited
has
to
a
talk.
lower.
I hear you talk about the voices and the
Oh, it's
music
so
because
good. And I think okay, well, I also have the line, this was a weapon against me, I feel like, when Silver says, "How come we never play volleyball together?" And this is when, so at my day job, I write music curriculum for elementary classrooms, elementary teachers. And part of what we have to do is translate everything into Spanish. So we have a whole team, our translation team is always translating our song lyrics, and they're always telling us translation is an art. Like it
Yeah.
is a
It
creative
can come
thing.
off totally
Yeah.
different.
It really can. And especially if it's song lyrics or music,
Yeah.
because it needs to sound musical too, And I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
And rhyme.
yes. And I don't have any idea what the Polish translations of this. So I can't say maybe this is a really good translation. Maybe the lyrics are just a little clunky, which I will
Mhm.
forgive because the songs are bangers. I'm happy with it. But this, how come we never play volleyball together? I was like, that can't be the
It has to
intention.
mean something else.
No, I think it is because then
What?
right
It
after
is.
it,
Yeah.
she
I
says
actually
like, I
in
don't
that moment. Yeah.
Well, and then she says a couple other things like ice
Mhm.
skating or something,
Ice
like
No, it
skating and
makes
stuff.
activities.
Yeah.
sense, but I was like,
Just so random.
See, the one I got hung up on was the raven eats the nut or whatever that
oh
flamed
yes,
Yeah,
was.
I
pecking
like
at the
that
nut.
one.
That's
Yeah.
what I was
Because
thinking.
I
was
loved
like,
that song. The song
Yeah,
was
it was good.
beautiful and
that's
like
what
all
the
the
top, I think.
it was real emo,
Yeah.
like the lyrics were real emo, and then it was like the raven eats the nut. What the fuck? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
sure.
again, this it could be like it's almost kind of so glaring that it kind of pulls you in, it's kind of like
Yeah.
mesmerizing.
Yeah,
But
because
I
it's
just
like I know this is some sort of idiom that I don't understand, but it like
Yes.
direct
Oh, I
translation,
kinda-
it was like
I kind of looked at it as like they're not human, so it's
Mhm.
like
They're
it's
not
like
doing
it's
human
like
things.
their
Well, that's a good
idea of
point.
like isn't this what you guys do?
I thought we were
And
gonna
it's
play
you guys
just
play
like,
volleyball.
volleyball.
I thought that's what
right?
humans did.
Isn't this what
Yeah.
or isn't that what like
Oh,
families
you
do?
know,
Don't you
especially
guys
because
do
they
things
sit off
together?
of beaches, so they would see people playing
Yeah,
volleyball on the
yeah.
There you
beaches,
go.
right?
And I think
Okay.
she says like like beach activities kind of
Beach
thing. So it's like, isn't this
activities.
what you guys do for fun?
I
Like,
stand
no?
corrected.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
Maybe.
Although it does come out
Maybe.
of the fucking blue. It was
Yeah,
It
like,
really
it does.
does.
Like
We never
next she's
play
gonna want to
volleyball
go to like
together.
Sky
Yeah.
Zone or like
No, you're right. It is a
know.
very glaring line. It's pretty, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I did play restaurant volleyball at Hooters for a while, and that was fun.
What's restaurant volleyball, Jen?
When you're on a team with your restaurant employee, like
Oh,
I was on the
okay.
Hooker team.
Oh,
I
I
get
thought you
it
meant
now.
like in the restaurant.
I did
was
too.
like,
What
No,
it
it
kind
was
of
just our restaurant
implies.
team. I mean, it was at a restaurant,
Like
Hooters.
Dave and Buster's? Like what are we doing?
Yeah, it went,
There was
Yeah.
a Dave and Buster's
Court in the
team.
back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
oh my
Yeah.
god.
It was kind of fun. Sand volleyball. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I'm not a mermaid though. Okay, so I do
So
want
you
to
did get to play volleyball. So
Yeah.
maybe
I
that's,
did. Look,
yeah.
I played
wouldn't
volleyball
feel-
as a freshman too, and I was not very good, so I didn't play anymore. But I was good enough for the Cooker Hookers at that Hooters in Nashville. So
And that's honestly
was
a
that the
feat,
team?
and you should put it on your
That's
resume.
Amazing.
Yeah,
yeah,
Wow, I love Jen Lore.
I do too. When
A lot of it
you
has to
peel
do
back
with
those
alcohol.
scales and
But
you get
honestly-
it. The more stories.
Okay, well, let's talk about these scales for these mermaids because yeah, I was mesmerized by our evil alto, and I just thought the way like the music is great. This is really well written, especially their siren songs, like the dissonance there, the really tight thirds,
Yeah.
and these two women sing together very well. Like that's the thing with choir. That's my favorite thing about choir is blending with other voices. The goal is to only hear one voice, and I just thought it was so like mesmerizing and it would like pull me into the water.
Yeah.
Sammy, what do you think about these mermaids and how are they using their voices as weapons?
I think that they're like we're taking siren mythology and kind of combining it with predatory biology, like combining the two. And they use their siren songs, as I caught on to like disarm people, and I think that closely resembles like the original lore, or not lure of mermaids.
Oh,
Because every time I like was typing lore, I was like, no, not lure. I was like, lore is different than lure.
The rural
it's the lure
yeah.
lore,
But it is the lure because I'm about to go into some lore because I wanted to use this section to sort of give us, some insight into the similarities between this one and the original Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
So in the lore, not lure, of mermaids,
Lure.
they have mermaids
Lure
live for
lore.
300 years, but when they die, they do turn into sea foam and cease to exist. So that's their main, like that is a real thing, but they do live a really long time. So her poor sister's gonna have to live like the rest of her hundreds of years alone, which sucks. In the goal for each mermaid, so Ariel's goal is not just like the prince's romantic love, but acquiring like an eternal human soul through marriage. So it's like you have to like convince them to marry you for you. That's also part of the original lore, which I thought was really cool. I was like, I like that
Or
she
you
did her research.
Go to
Yeah.
Christian hell. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Very like
Yes.
trad wifey. Trad
And
mermaids.
there's no names, which is funny because they don't have names. They get names assigned to them. And because in the original story, the mermaid, the prince, or the sea witch, or in the in the Disney one, they all have names, obviously. But none of the
Hans Christian Andersen one.
They're only identified by their titles and like usually in the story, I guess. I've never read the Hans Christian Andersen Little Mermaid, so I'm just going off of what I found the differences of.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting.
It's been a while, but yeah, I remember. She's
so
just a Little
the
Mermaid.
walking is also in it. Like every step she takes on land feels like walking on sharp daggers.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like brutal pain. Like it's not just like, oh, I tripped and fell and it's hard to walk.
Yeah.
It's like it is like just knives to the feet, and that would be horrible. So pick all for a man. It can never be me.
Yeah, seriously. Also, my last day at Universal when I chaperoned that middle school trip too. Every step was like a knife.
It's horrid. I've been there before. Yeah, and it was at Orlando for Disney. But
fun,
in the
but at what
it
cost?
is fun until it's not. It's fun until you've got scarring from chafing, which I have. But in the original story, the witch literally cuts out her tongue to pay for the potion, which I wish they kind of like didn't miss because I think it's kind of metal, but I'll take it. And then in the original tragic ending, the sister sacrifice is that the mermaid's sister brings her a knife from the witch in the original story, and like she's like trying to help her kill him too, which I like that there's also a sister. And then she does also turn into sea foam at the end of the original story, which I think is very sad, and I understand why Disney
so sad.
didn't go that route. But
it's so sad.
The director really did put like a lot of research into it, and I like that. I love when there's actual lore and mythology that's being used for cryptids, kind of. You're right. They are cryptids. Yeah,
they are. Yeah, they're just very humanoid cryptids in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Yeah. Rachel, what do you think about the voices as weapons and just the depiction of these mermaids?
Yeah, I think that obviously they have their own weapons that they are coming in with, like their own assets and skills and special powers kind of thing, using their siren song to sort of glamorize. I don't ever think they're like really actually controlling, but they're kind of influencing, like, I think the audiences and like getting this family to sort of like engage with them so they can come onto shore and be a part of their world, right? I also, what I think is fascinating and I love about it kind of also is also how it's weaponized against them. And I think like obviously there's like that subtext here of just whether it's, coming of age or just women in the world, that kind of thing, like how some of these assets, and like assets isn't the right word, but these features of them is weaponized against them. And it's like, I find that to be really interesting. Like their tails, I think, are a little intimidating.
Yeah.
Because they're so big.
Yeah.
Like the design, and I think that's really intentional because they're not so like dainty, kind of like I have a dolphin tail. It's like I have this massive, twice my body size snake eel, like I don't know what else.
Yeah, I read that the prosthetic tails were 6 feet long themselves. Like just
and these are real
crazy.
practical tails that these women were wearing, which is crazy. And then the fact that they show no shame to like, I'm topless, what's the big deal? Like
Yeah.
everybody's like this. And I kind of like throughout the course of the movie, I think you sort of see those elements being turned against them in some way. Like I think the men are a little intimidated by these tales.
Yeah. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
You know, and so they take some of these opportunities to kind of not put the women in their place. That sounds like they deserve what they get, but I think like make them like shame them
Yeah.
in one way, shape, or another, because, and I think it's coming from a place of insecurity.
My
because
dick isn't that big, you
Your
know?
tail
yeah,
shaming.
exactly. Like your tail is so big. Like it's a little bit of like, I think they have like some performance anxiety or some emasculation coming, and the fact that these women are so strong and so unashamed of their bodies, you immediately see a lot of the men kind of have an issue with that.
Yes.
And you see that kind of transition over the film, is how they become like a little bit more aware, like, oh, this is different in this world. And I think that's why you see like Silver and Golden really handle it so differently. And even like, you know, she gives them that scale, and it's interesting. I didn't think of it like a potion. I thought of it kind of like almost like she was giving it to him as a token, as like, this is like a part of me. This is like, you know, like kind
like
of
a
like
lock
proposing
of hair or something. Yeah.
And then we see him like pull it out and kind of like not give it to that girl, but basically like give it to the other girl, or just like, I don't want this anymore, that kind of thing. And so you see those little things, I don't know if that's weaponized, but kind of disregarded and just like not taken seriously. So I think like their bodies and their actual being is such an integral part of this story.
For sure.
And it's used really effectively, because let's be honest, there's a lot of weird wild shit that happens in this movie, so you gotta like cling on to these things a little bit. So it's used really effectively to actually support the narrative, because there's a lot of song, there's a lot of lyrics that don't make sense, there's a lot of surreal imagery and dance numbers, so like how are we going to get the actual story across? And I think a lot of it is told through the mermaids and their bodies.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the interesting visuals we get, and I didn't mention it in the synopsis, but when they're doing that photo shoot and they've dressed them like Playboy bunnies, you know, and I was like, oh, they have to like reduce them by using this stereotypical, like this other kind of animal that is tiny and fluffy and furry and essentially mute too, you know? So it's just an interesting way to kind of,
I would have nets on their tails.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we've caught you.
Fish nets.
Yeah, it felt like neutering them, you know. It's like we are like defanging them. We have to make you accessible for us, or we have to make you non-threatening. And you know, part of me wanted to ask, like, are they lady killers? But I think that to me felt like a little too obvious, because they are. That's what they do. They eat
we've done animals that kill too.
We have, exactly. Well, and I was like, it's like that. Like they're just killing because they got to eat.
It's in their nature.
You know? Exactly.
They aren't people.
And,
that doesn't mean they deserve to be treated as less than. It's
no,
just
not
they're
at all.
not our species.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they're frankly a little bit above us, you know. But
we're their prey. So they definitely are above us.
And I love the idea of using your voice as a lure, you know, and that their duo is called the lure. I love that they're hunting in a pack, you know, because they're working together, you know. But just that's how they ensnare the men. And you know, I have also recently seen the Odyssey and was really fascinated by how they did sirens there. It's just a moment, but it's really interesting.
It's effective. It's very effective. I honestly, that was my only qualm with the movie, is that it didn't have as much sirens as I wanted it to. But I actually, like, now with hindsight, I'm like, no, you just give them a little bit of that.
Yeah,
like,
that's all
and
we
I think
need.
it really worked. Because I guess that the sirens in the original Odyssey, it's been mistranslated, and they were just harpies more. They had like a head of a woman and the body of a bird. And it just got mistranslated, and they became what the sirens are. Mermaids now.
Some director wanted boobs in his movie, and he's like, well, we can't have their body be birds.
Yeah,
you know?
or
that's the wrong kind of breast.
Story. I don't know. Like, it might,
well, true.
Before movies, but I could be wrong. If someone knows when they made that change, but like it popped up in all of my things of like they weren't really mermaids; they were bird women. And I was like, oh, okay. Thanks.
Well, I want to talk about Chrissia's response to this moment too at the very beginning when they're singing their siren song. But before we do that, we're going to get into a houseboat. I dated a guy back in between marriages. I dated a guy who wanted to live on a houseboat. and we ended up breaking up. But
You did,
some-
Jen? No.
yeah.
Not the guy in the hospital that wanted to live
Sometimes
there.
I think like what might have been. Like I
You're
never
like,
he
and
didn't-
his name is Corey, and
Yeah.
we have some
Yeah,
news.
we're living on a houseboat now. I aspired to like he like really that was his goal in life, was to live on a houseboat. And I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work.
I don't know if
People
maybe
feel
like,
drawn
that should
to
be
the
your
houseboat.
goal.
I've met a couple people in life who like that is their like dream goal.
Yeah.
And
is
look,
to live in a
Sleepless in
houseboat someday.
Seattle, that's a cool houseboat.
Do you ever see those like canal boats like in the UK?
Yes, a Viking
Those
cruise.
are cool.
Yeah.
It's like a dream when they're just like in those little canals and they're really long. And
Yeah.
See, but that was not the kind of houseboat he was talking about. He showed me this picture because he was going to go look at one to rent, and I was like, I'm not
They're
spending the
always
night on this.
fixer uppers is the thing. Like
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
of the boat from the Zodiac when Robert Downey Jr. is like living there playing Pong.
Yes.
That's the image I have of a man that wants to live on a houseboat.
Yep.
There was a House Hunters episode one time, and like, it was in like Washington, and they did like all houseboats for the episode, and it was
Easy. There are people out there that want to live
I don't
on the
ever
water.
want to live on one.
Yeah, I get too seasick, man. As much as I love the MERS.
Yeah.
Well, there's all
Maids.
kinds of rules with like, because you can't just like doing your laundry and the like. I mean, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
with trailers, you can't just dump like your sewage everywhere.
Where does
except
your-
you're
yeah.
on water, and there are rules, and like it's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Not
Plus
to get off on
Cape Fear.
houseboats.
Yeah. Well, the reason I
Cape
brought it
Fear.
up is because they get married on a houseboat,
They do.
thing, and it looks cool. So that's what we're getting in. But we are going to swim away from the marriage because we ate the men, and
ate the men.
we're going to get in loser. We're going killing.
This woman will soon cut, chop, break, and burn 5 men beyond recognition. And there isn't a jury in this country that will convict her.
Promised I was going somewhere with that, and it was
You got
your next
there.
category.
You got there.
Okay, so I want to talk about
Houseboats take a long time to get places. So.
They
really
sure
do.
which is another con, you know.
Yes.
So also snakes and sharks, you know,
Mhm.
octopi, you know, you never know what's
Snake,
down there.
sharks, squids.
So, okay, I do think it's interesting that when they start singing their song, the men are like, ooh, let me just walk into the water with all my clothes on. Like, dude barely takes his guitar off to get into the water and get to these mermaids. And Chrissia is like, what the fuck? There's mermaids. She's screaming in horror. So I think that's interesting. But then Chrissia also has this dream. It's one of those very bizarre, surreal images where she is singing and they are nursing from her, but she also is not showing anything too. It's very like she's mostly covered up. It's just the positioning that makes it look like we're nursing. I don't have a ton to say about Chrissia because I don't think the movie really does a lot with this character. She kind of shows up when we need her and then she disappears. That's maybe one of my criticisms, is I'm not sure we needed all of these characters.
Yeah.
But I was really struck by this image. Shelby, what do you think of Chrissia? How does she feel about the mermaids?
Chrissy is really interesting because I feel like she's one of these people, like, we see there's a lot of like things to signal that at one time she was a little bit more popular as like a pop star. Like we see the pictures on the wall, and it feels like, it feels like she's almost dealing with aging in like, I think a few different ways. I don't know if the movie is like has a fully, I feel like the movie says one thing about her and then says a different thing and then like whips back around. So I don't know if it's cohesive, but it's like initially we meet her and she is not swayed by these monsters. And it's like, oh, this is like a woman's intuition of like, she's the only one not swayed by it, which was a really weird introduction to her because she just screams and runs away. She's not even trying to stop them from going in the water.
I didn't even know they were the same group of people.
I didn't realize they were the same people until the bassist, the boy, showed up because he has the shaggy hair. Yeah. And so like she runs away. But then later she even introduces them as like, and I know she's trying to cover it up, but she says they're like her friend's kids. And so she gets a little bit motherly. Then they come live with her. But then she's like jealous of them, even though she is exploiting them for their bodies to, you know, further her music. I don't know what she's trying to do, but like, and she tries to get them dressed and all of these things. And then it kind of turns later where she realizes they're monsters again. It's like she can't use them anymore because this bitch got her tail taken off, so we can't even like sing with her anymore, and she can't use them anymore. So now her toddler and Tiara's dreams have gone out the window, and
She
now
was
it's like
such a
she's
good dance mom. She was trying there
yeah,
for a sec.
and like it seems like for the last part of the movie, she's on like a kind of a bender. Like she's drunk a lot of
Yeah.
times when we see her. She's angry at them. She's jealous of them, and like that's why I couldn't really like I didn't understand the relationship to the bassist because
There's
like
I mean, yeah, because it's odd.
that's
Like
their
she like gets
son,
angry, she gets
but
with
also
him.
when he dies, she's like not that phased, and she's also not that phased by like anything that's happening. Like at one point she's just kind of checked out. So she was a really interesting character, but I like don't know why. I can't pinpoint her. I can see why, Jen, when you were like, I don't have much to say
half
about her. It's like
developed, kind of, you know,
half
like,
developed. Well, it's like they try to use her for different. It's either like she should have been like several characters or no characters. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I do love the Sea Witch. There's just like one scene where she's like, "Want a pussy, lady?"
I know.
Yeah, here's a
like
cigarette,
it'll make
you
your
know?
voice sound like this. Twice.
Exactly. It's like when Phoebe gets sick on Friends. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sammy, what do you think about Chrissia?
I agree. I think she kind of transitions throughout the film, kind of like our main characters. Like she's initially alarmed by them, then feels maternal protection for them, and then ultimately I think it becomes kind of a mixed bag because it's not just sexual exploitation, it's also financial exploitation, because we can't forget that this is a transactional relationship. She sees dollar signs when she sees them. They aren't even getting paid for their services. Like this was like her, I think, like I do agree that her career was going down and she sees this as an opportunity to get back on top. But with that comes feelings of inadequacy because she's not the lead singer anymore. And it's hard to watch, you know, it's like the whole message of Clarabout by Taylor Swift. Like, oh, you like the next one will always be the best one, the lucky one. It's you know, before me, it was Stevie Nicks. Before Stevie Nicks, it was whoever. Like, so that's kind of what I think is she's the turmoil of fame, you know what I mean? Of being on top to being on the bottom and then getting somewhere in the middle because of someone else probably doesn't feel very good. And then her husband leaves her, you know, because he takes the ring off. He doesn't even pay attention to her at the wedding of their kid. She's depressed there because I think he's dancing with the woman that he left her with, and they're not even talking. So it's a very cold breakup. And given what I know about the culture over there, checks out, you know what I mean? Like it's not a big lovey-dovey feelings type of feeling over there. I feel like just on my own experience and what I've like learned, you know, they're very they get to the point really fast, you know what I mean? There's not a lot of emotional turmoil, I feel like, when I've seen them in movies and things like that, because they're basically, you know, it's Polish people are over by Russia, so it's a very similar dynamic, you know, which is why I think there was so much vodka in this movie, and they are like raging till the sun comes up. So
it's the 80s too, which was a different time.
They had to have had some great like or not Molly but ecstasy, or because like the club scene is hardcore over there too, because he is jamming with that fucking little safety hoop when he's like going at it, and he's like dancing. Everyone's looking at him like, what the fuck? I'm like, the sun is rising, dude. Everyone's going home. It's time for you to go
I
home,
did
too.
see in the bloopers his thumb grew back somehow when in that last scene. He just has both of his thumbs, and they like it's not even bandaged or anything. It is just like they forgot. Like
but that's how I feel about her. I did want to share this because when I clicked on her page, the actress, the first thing I learned was she graduated from the puppetry department at the National Academy of Theater Arts in Krakow in 1996. So our girl is a fucking puppeteer, and that is really cool, I think.
I hear Marty say puppeteers. But also, if I could do my life over again, puppeteering and working on the puppet truck.
Out of the music scene and into the puppetry
into the
scene.
puppets, you know? Yeah, maybe I'm the first singing puppet, you know?
I just love the idea of like, I'm going to
Nobody's ever done that
for
before.
puppetry, and
It
honestly,
sounds
like
awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
I
like I can't. I imagine like her parents in the like late '80s were like, okay, like cool, we get to pay a tuition for this, but the world needs puppeteers.
The world needs joy, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
And I just watched the new Pinocchio movie.
Oh.
And I'm not sure if joy is the way I would describe it, but there was a puppeteer there. So
okay. Well, that's how he does it. Well,
Yeah,
Rachel, what do you think about Chrissia?
I mean, I agree with all this. I think I really looked at her as kind of, I mean, it's the conflict. And I think this is something that is unfortunately, she's kind of embodying that older matriarchal character. And I think she's feeling a lot of conflict with that
Yeah.
because it's like, on one hand, she's like, oh, this is great. Like, you can come in here and then like that can make our band better and like kind of reinvigorate us. And then when she sees how much attention, is feeling a little conflicted, that I think she's got, yeah, some jealousy, and is feeling a little like kind of forgotten about and off to the side. And I think she does feel some guilt about sort of exploiting them, especially once they call it out. But at the same time, since I interpreted this as a family unit, I think there's also an element like, wait, I'm losing my son to this person.
Yeah.
Like, and I see the way like my husband's kind of looking at him and feeling, a little bothered
Left
by the
out.
fact that she's
Yeah.
kind of like, feel like I don't think she actually wants to like feel resentment towards these two girls, but at the same time is. And so I think that dream of hers is kind of her wrestling with that fact.
Yeah.
Like, I am also one of the, like, I've been in their shoes. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should be supporting them. I should be happy. I should be encouraging them. I should be happy my son is like
Found
seemingly
someone,
in a
yeah.
good relationship with them, but at the same time like a little bothered by it. And I think that's kind of what she's wrestling with. Is it, executed super clearly? No,
Yeah.
I agree, but that's the whole movie. But I think that's sort of the emotion that I get from her, is just sort of struggling with her place in this world at the age she is, at her position and her career and all of those things. And then these two young, beautiful starlets kind of come in and take the spotlight from her, and feeling conflicted. And I think that's something that anybody, I mean, I work on a college campus. I'm 41, and it's like, as you get older, it's like I can see those feelings of being like, no, like I don't want to feel this way about a younger generation. Like, I want to, I want to be supported. And like, it's a good thing to remember, like, check yourself.
Yeah.
Because we've all been there. We've all, and again, especially when it comes to Golden, we can talk about, I know we're going to talk about her fate, but it's like, we've all been there, girl. So like, let's not judge too harshly.
Yeah.
Well, and that's,
hard,
I think, what I want, now that I'm thinking about it, what I would like for Chrissia is, I would love for her to have a conversation with Silver about the choice to cut her tail off, because I can see Chrissia working through that. I think you're exactly right. And what she's going through is what Silver eventually experiences. It's like, when you're not young and beautiful, or when you can't do this physical thing that they want, when you can't do it the way they want it exactly, they're going to find somebody else, and then you're discarded. And I think, I can't remember if I mentioned, when she's nursing the mermaid, she's imagining herself with a big tail too.
Yes.
And it's just like, I think there is this kind of mentor mother kind of role that she's trying to kind of figure out. And I would be interested to hear what advice she would give to Silver about, should you cut your tail off, let's talk about Golden, because she's my favorite. I love her. I love an alto. I love a brunette. And especially when they're eating men's hearts.
Beautiful. Not that they're both beautiful, but there was something about her that really like drew the eye.
Yes.
Well, she's like the hot goth girlfriend, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Really
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
She's like the vixen versus the ingenue.
And she always looks like really mad, and I love
she
that.
does.
And I
She's
love
the older sister. She's the older
Yes.
sister.
Like, what the
I
fuck are you
also, I
doing?
really liked Silver, like her eyes with that blonde
They're
hair. You
black.
expect her to have like blue eyes, but her eyes are so dark, and
like I couldn't even see the whites of her eyes.
I don't think she had any.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
a
like
lot.
this teeny like little hint of menace every time, and it was perfect. But Golden says, as Sammy introduced herself, "At night I get cravings that aren't quite wholesome." I love that she just fucking chomps that dude's thumb off too, because he deserves it. But then she also fucks the cop, which we mentioned, and then she wants to sing with Triton, which reminded me so much of Empire Records, when at the end Renee Zellweger is like, "And I want to be in a band, but I never courage to audition," and she gets her little moment. And then Triton's a dick, and he's like, "You need
He also
more
needs a
practice."
haircut. Like
He does,
dude,
yeah.
Like that mohawk isn't mohawking
Let it go.
anymore.
It's like, I like the idea, but you gotta
Sure.
trim it. Like, I don't
It's
need this
just-
loop like comb over mohawk thing.
It's
no.
bad. It's
It
all the hair is
also-
coming from back, so it's just like it's.
And it's a little too thin. I mean, I get it. Like, he's supposed to be a fish and he got hooked in the head or whatever. But I didn't like him.
Those
And
are
his
his
but
horns.
the-
Yeah,
One of
his
them got
horns.
ripped out, and then he tore the other one
Ripped
out.
the other one out. Yeah.
because he's metal, man.
King
But
Triton.
one of my favorite things in musicals is when people are like here, they're supposed to be doing these musical numbers and they just like show up and they're like, I want to sing. Here you go. Let's like, we were even talking about when you do karaoke, it has to be a song you already know because when you're on stage, like my choir teacher always used to say, if you don't know it, you're going to fuck it up. You know, you have to have it in your head. If the score is not in your head's going to be in the score and you're not going to be a good performer. Sorry, my music nerd is coming out hardcore, but I love when she shows up and she's singing and I think she's doing pretty well, but he's like, you need more practice. And I was like, yeah, fuck. She needs a practice. She
Yeah.
literally walked on stage and started singing. What did you expect? Anyways, that's all beside the point because they're mermaids. It's suspension of disbelief, whatever. But Triton says, we're not human. We're just on vacation here, which I think that is how Golden is seeing this whole thing. But Silver's like, this is my new life.
I'm here for a
gonna love
man.
it. Yeah, exactly. So Shelby, why do you think Golden follows Silver on shore and what is it she's actually looking for?
It's like Triton where she just wants to go have a little fun and she's curious. And I think she was maybe under the impression like, I mean, we're gonna like go back to eating people, right? Like that's what's gonna happen.
We're on vacation. We're just doing the thing. Yeah. Vacations are still going wrong. Shit.
Yeah, when they are. When we first meet them when they're on shore and they're showing off like that they have no butt cracks or badges, like which was that makeup was so disturbing to look at.
There was something really like
it was
not
really
supposed to
eerie.
be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It felt like a Barbie.
No belly buttons. Yeah. And so like I don't know, it felt like they were just as curious, like they were curiously like staring at all the humans too. Like they had this look they both had this look on their face, like, oh my God, like you're so curious about us. Like, what is your whole deal? Like, oh my God, I think it's so cool that we can turn our tails on and off. Like, that's pretty neat. And I think she was just kind of curious. Like, I actually really liked the character of Triton because he seemed really old. And like, Sammy, I'm glad you mentioned like these creatures are supposed to be like really old. Like he felt like he'd been around for a long time.
They lived to 300, guys.
Yeah. I loved that when he warns Golden like about Silver and like, you know, all of this stuff. And I kind of loved that Silver was like, oh, that's just like an old, like a superstition. And I was like, oh my God, they have superstitions down there.
You are
like,
a superstition. Like,
yeah,
you
like
being
it was
alive is a superstition.
Yeah. It wasn't like new news she didn't know. It was like, oh no, we've heard this, but like, and I feel like the only thing to me, again, the one problem I have with this movie is like, I do feel like the characters were inconsistent. Like, I don't know why Golden didn't fight more for her to like kill Mitek. Is that his name at the end? Bassist guy at the end? Because it felt like she just kind of like, my hands are tied. And it didn't feel like the same her we had seen through the whole movie who's sneaking off and killing people and banging a cop and like all this stuff. And it felt like near the end, she was just like, frozen by it, and she
got worn down.
Yeah,
she did.
Until they get you
you're right.
Yeah,
because it did surprise me that she like it just never felt like she tried as much as the character would have tried as I was reading the character. But maybe that's what it is. She got worn down, man. And she was just like, oh no, this is what happens. A man always ruins it. What are you gonna do?
The rest of us.
Golden, right? We're talking. I also kind of just thought she was just following her heart too.
Yeah.
You know, she was being true. Like she actually did really care, but you know, she paid the ultimate price.
Yeah, and I think she has always like she didn't think they were going to be there that long. She's like, "Hey, are we going to just hang out here and before we go to America?" You know?
Yeah, because she says that she says they're going to swim to America, which I thought was also interesting that they are going to swim specifically to America.
Maybe they're going to go to the real Disneyland. You know?
Maybe that's what they're doing. Yeah, the real.
She was like, "I want to go to if we're going, like, I want to go to like the original,
the real one,
the good one." Yeah. Sorry, no shade to
from what I have heard is not great. They don't put a ton of effort into it because it didn't do well at first. Because guess what? Europeans don't really love American culture, and Disneyland at its core is the most American thing in the entire world.
Absolutely.
So I think they kind of underestimated how much people would care about having a park there. That's why it's gone through several. Now it's, I think, Disneyland Paris instead of Euro Disney. Like, it's gone through a ton of different things.
I remember reading where they had to train the staff at Euro Disney, like they had to smile at people because they're not smilers.
No.
And they had to like tell them you have to smile.
If you go to the French area at Epcot too, you get that experience, is all I'll say.
Nice.
Because I want to say, like, ship people
They
over.
ship them in.
They ship them in. They choose people from their respective countries to work in those, like, at those places in Epcot, at the World Market or something.
Yeah.
World's, I don't know, something like that. I should know because I love Epcot.
It's
but
cool.
it's super cool. Yeah, exactly. So you get, like, there was one time we went to get, like, all of these baked goods, but it was all these different nationalities, and they're all talking in their languages, and you know they just talk mad shit all day.
So
like, I that would be my ideal situation, to be at Disneyland and be able to talk just about all the stupid fucks that come in, myself included. So
yeah. Well, what do you think about Golden? What does she want? And does she really want to go to Disneyland?
I don't think she wants to go to Disneyland.
No,
I really
she would
don't.
go ironically.
Yeah, exactly. She's more of a Universal Studios girl, I think, which is totally fine. But I do think loyalty is at the core of this entire relationship, and to sort of keep watch over her sister and make sure what ends up happening doesn't end up happening, because it does. But I think the key difference between the two is that one is doing it for the love of a man, the other is doing it for the love of her sister. These are two it's very Frozen-esque.
Yeah.
You know,
you're gonna marry him. You just met him.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that Hans Christian Andersen did that one too. So
did he really? I didn't know that. The Ice Queen. Oh my god, that's tough.
Yeah,
he was great at writing sisters.
he was good. Yeah.
It turned out he was actually really good. People,
he was pretty good.
But I do think she wants to just be able to experience the culture here, but also not make herself small while she's doing that. Someone that isn't what she is. She's a fucking predator, like, first and foremost. And you can't really forget that, I think, even if you're enjoying. It's like vampires, right? Like, like you can enjoy the culture, but you're also higher on the food chain than them. So it's like, it's like in the Odyssey when he's like, do you look at ants? Like, do you talk to ants? Yeah, it's like, I don't give a shit. You're a human. You're gonna be dead in 20 years.
You're my food.
Exactly. Like, I am a, like, infinite being, essentially. So sorry if I don't give a shit about you fucks. Like, and I get it. Like, I wouldn't either. And I think she just wants to chase, or should I say swim, to the American dream.
Yeah.
It's all, like, I think, kind of a metaphor for that, of getting to the place that is you're free finally, because this is set in the 80s too. So for my next section, we'll get into it, but let's not forget about the Berlin Wall and what was happening in the 80s.
Well, I was gonna say them opening with an American song too. Like, that's pretty. I mean, I guess not opening, because they open with the Mermaid.
It's like
song,
a thing, right? Like, we are like, it's a better life, or we're told is a better life. I'm not sure if it is anymore, but I mean, people say that, like, that's like the whole thing is like you risk your life to get to America, and now I want to be like, guys, it's not worth it.
Right, exactly. Maybe because now some of us are trying to get
exactly
so we can get healthcare, well, speaking of paying for things, let's take just a quick break and pay some bills. Okay, I want to talk about Silver, but I love Golden, but this to me feels like the meat of the movie is Silver and
she
Night
is
Tag.
Ariel.
She is the Little Mermaid. Yes, and I just love when they say, "Now I know that love is vicious." Like, tattooed on my face. I love it. Yeah. But she also says, "Try to stop me and you'll never see me again," to Golden, when Golden's like, "Are you sure you want to cut off half your body for this boy with this floppy hair menace?" Like, he might as well be wearing a long sleeve shirt with a short sleeve with a t-shirt.
There's honestly like 500 million of that type of guy. So I think if she just, like,
there's always going to be there are many fish in the sea.
Okay? Yes.
Well, I'm sorry, Rachel, what do you think? Why does Silver cut off her tail, and why do you think she can't eat Mai Tak?
Number one, I just realized I keep flipping them in my head because I think Golden, like, her hair is
because
golden.
their colors match better the other way. I thought that too the whole time. I was like, why are their colors feel?
I was talking about her a little bit a second ago, but why does Silver cut off her tail? Because she's listening to a man.
Yeah.
she's letting the thoughts, the patriarchy, the societal expectations seep in, and she thinks she's doing it for them. But then I think kind of quickly realizes that's not necessarily the case, and that it's not that simple. Like, she's learning a lesson the hard way. Like, she thinks like, oh sure, I understand, we're different species. If I do this, like, I'm willing to make this sacrifice for you to show my love, and then we're going to be together, and then we can have sex, and you'll have sex with me, and you'll love it, and we're going to be in love and be together forever. And how she learns the hard way that, like, yeah, that doesn't always work that way. Because I mean, but I think that was her motivation. Also, I love this scene.
Me
the
too.
actual scene, because it's like, it's not just like some magical transformation like with the legs, it's like straight on body horror. The fact that it's such a drastic thing, I think, is important, because it is so drastic. And she's not just losing her voice, like, this is a whole other set of legs.
She's
like
maiming herself for a man.
Yeah.
And if he was a good man, he wouldn't have let her do that.
Yeah.
I mean, Jen, I don't know if you thought, I mean, this is a Brittany and Jack scenario.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Like, from Vanderpump Rules.
Yep.
How many times did we literally see Brittany, our Kentucky muffin, go under the knife?
Yep.
Because he told her to?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
girl.
Oh my God,
Wait.
that's awful.
What?
That's awful.
yet,
And she
like,
just got her implants out, and she was like, I feel like that was the last piece of
yeah,
him that was-
because like she
Whoa.
got like,
If anyone, I'm just like thinking of what I would do, because I know
I
I'd be
know a
put in
guy who
jail.
has talked 3 girlfriends into getting
well,
implants.
I was like, I think, I'm sure this happens all the time, or like,
yucky.
you know,
Had boyfriends try. I have had them.
Stop it. I'm not
Yeah.
allowing this to happen
Yeah, I know.
anymore.
I'm too freaked out about surgery. And look, hey, if you want to get implants, that is a fantastic
For
choice
sure.
for
Yeah,
you to
absolutely.
make for
For
yourself, and I
you.
hope you're happy
Yeah.
about it.
yeah.
I get Botox for me, not for this fuck. Okay,
Exactly.
Like-
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that's like a very easy comp to make. Is
Yeah.
like, I'm doing this thing because there's something about me that, like, maybe I don't like a little bit, but you also don't like. So I'm gonna do it
Yes.
for us. And then she quickly finds out, like, that's not enough.
It was never
necessarily.
us. Yeah.
Well, and then, like, when she gets the blood on him, obviously there's like a very clear, like, is it period blood?
Is it period blood? That's
Yeah.
exactly
is it the
what I
first
thought.
time,
Mhm.
because it's their first time together? I think there's a lot of ways to interpret it. But just this idea of, like, the fact that he's asking her to do all these things and then being, like, grossed out by it, but he's always grossed out by her. It's not the other way around.
It's a lot
and,
of
like,
it reminded me a lot of like when men are very like we have to bear children and then are grossed out by their wives as soon as they give birth. You know?
Yeah.
Elvis. Yes.
Elvis.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a
Yeah.
great example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where my
So,
kids
yeah.
come from. I can't have sex with you anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, gross.
Yes. So that's what I like about Silver, and like I like about her story, is because I think it's all, her decisions are coming from a really innocent place.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately just a really naive place,
Mhm.
but it's also a place where it's like she has to learn the hard way, I guess. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that's how it should be, but
No.
it's like it's something a lot of women, and not even women necessarily, have had to learn a lot of the time to be accepted, to like do these things, like, oh, this is what I have to do to be accepted.
Yeah.
I also I think you could interpret this whole, I mean, the mermaid story in general a lot of ways, so just want to acknowledge that, like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like women doing these things for men. It can just be
Yeah.
anybody who doesn't feel like they fit into their body, or is being judged, their body is being judged all the time, and they need to change it one way or the other, or they do change it and it's not. So I think that there's trans, like, allegories here, all sort of like disabled allegories
That's
here.
how I see
Yeah.
it.
So
for sure.
I think that's really fascinating. And I guess because I don't necessarily identify in those ways, never necessarily thought of the mermaid story in that way. And I
Yeah.
think this is a really cool look at that, and how, like, ultimately you got to make these decisions for yourself. You can't
Mhm.
do it for somebody else, because people will disappoint you more often
Yeah,
than not, I
for
guess.
sure.
And I think that's why she can't eat him. She can't eat him, though, is because
Yeah.
like she still loves
loves
him.
him.
She's
Yeah.
still
She
holding out
loves him.
hope.
It's like he's
Yeah.
got a siren song too. It's like I can be
Yeah.
this perfect wife. I can be this real woman, you know?
When she settles in, I'm wondering if part of her is like, this might be enough. True
Yeah.
love will
This is what I want
win.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, if she killed him, she would have to live with that. And can she
Yeah.
Yeah.
also live with that? Like, like, what is the option here? I either turn into sea foam in this like beautifully dramatic
It
fashion.
was beautiful. I thought
Yeah.
so too.
Yeah, or I kill this person I love,
Mm-hmm.
and now I swim the seas for 250 more years or whatever, and have to like, is that a better life? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
knowing like this is what love is. Like, am I going to be golden for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Or like, am I just calling it now? So I think
Yeah.
she ultimately decides like, I'm just gonna like believe in, I just want to be in this moment forever, and I
Yeah.
don't want to swim the seas pissed off for the rest of my life.
But it's just
Yeah.
so because it's like your sister needs you too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
100%.
and that's like how I like look at it, is like I could never like, okay, yeah, you don't want to live that life for the rest of your life, but now you just made someone for the rest of their life have to live with this horrible tragedy that happened to them. It's
Yeah.
like changing the trajectory of someone's life because you kill yourself in front of them type of
Yeah.
thing.
Which
you
she
know?
does.
She's just
Yeah.
in the moment. I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
like, it's, I am so sorry. I hate to do this, but it's so relevant. It's a Melanie and Sincere situation.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was thinking
yeah.
that too. Yeah, but it's also Anaya and KC too, where I think she,
Yes.
coming
Kept
back from
trying,
Casa,
kept trying.
she had this fantasy in her head of what it would be like, and she wasn't looking at reality. Because I do want to ask if he deserves his fate, because he says to her right away, he's like, "I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to you, but it's not going to work." He is pretty clear, and I don't say that to blame her at all.
No,
because
there's
I
a lot
get
of
it.
it. So when I was doing my research, there's a lot of debate whether he's a bad person or not,
Yeah.
or like does not if he's a bad person, if he deserves what happens
Mhm.
to him. Because I think he is a bad person, but I don't know if like that makes you have to get like cut to the jugular like the way
Yeah.
you did,
Throat
you know.
ripped
And
out by
but
a
I did
mermaid.
see there is like a really like online debate within like any sub I saw or like on Reddit. People, you can definitely tell which type of gender feels the certain way about it and which one doesn't feel the same way, I guess.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, let's talk about my tech and Silver, because I don't think we're quite done talking about Silver yet, but I do want to fold my tech into,
Yeah.
because I had that thought too. I was like, he has been manipulated. She cast
Yeah.
a spell on him immediately after he was like, "You'll always be a fish to me. I
Yeah.
can't do this."
I
He
can't be fucking your
says,
fish hole.
"You'll always be a fish." So I'm sorry. To me, you'll always be a fish. An animal, I can't do this. I'm sorry. Which is very like Burger with the post-it. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
can't. Don't
Mhm.
hate me. You know?
Yes.
And then she casts a spell on him. But the flaw for me is when he takes her to the surgery. He's excited about it. He's like, "I
Mhm.
get to fuck you now. This is going to
Yeah.
be great." And that to me doesn't feel like, if the spell was overriding everything, the blood wouldn't have freaked him out. So
Yeah.
I think that to me feels more like him.
If you also loved and cared about this person too, the blood wouldn't freak you out either. You know,
Dude,
like it's
yeah. Look,
that's
if you're having sex with somebody who's freaked out by period, then maybe
but it's
that's
also
not the
like
person you need
even
to be
when she
having
takes
sex
her out or her dress off, it's like if you're a good person, you'll be like, why don't we wait until you heal up a little bit more?
Yeah.
Like why you see the what looks like infection happening, you know,
Yeah.
like
And
it's sorry, Jen,
staples.
but
She's
like
like
it is
stapled
yeah,
together.
like,
cut off and sewed
it's-
on to
there-
somebody
there's-
else.
like a
Sorry
lot
for
of
yelling,
blood
listeners.
still around her. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like she does not look healed in the slightest. So I can't, I don't know, like I mean, it's like a man wanting the husband stitch and coming home and being like, let's fuck. And it's like, actually, no, I can't for 6 weeks. And it's like, well, that's too long. Like if that's too long for you, you have a problem, I think.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's
like,
the thing. And I mean,
yeah.
look, I am grossed out. That probably would have really freaked me out too.
But I would
because
never
have
put
this
myself
thing
in that
with scars.
situation.
Exactly. And I would recognize it as my thing. I wouldn't shame my partner for
Yes.
it. And I said, if periods could freak you out, that's fine. But that is a natural part of a female identifying person's life, or somebody who has a uterus and a
We
vagina.
have no
and
choice. It's just
Exactly.
our,
And if you
like,
can't
for
handle
most of
that,
our
then
lives.
you're not going to be able to have a long-term partnership with this
Yeah.
person, because that is constantly telling them they have to hide something about their body. And that sucks,
I'm like, never. I'm fucking putting tampon in with the door open.
I
Don't care.
know. I'm like, dude, yeah. And I'm also trying not to hide it from my son too. Like,
Yeah.
because I don't want to instill in the next generation that this is something to be
Mhm.
ashamed of. You
Mhm.
know,
Typically, boys that grow up in a boy's household are the ones that are freaked out, like
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
experience, or like need a second, like to figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Most men who have like grown up in like with sisters, like know
yeah, they're like,
exactly what to do,
it's
and
fine. You know,
but sometimes it can be different. But like in my
yeah.
if my past roster, that is what the evidence I accumulated.
Yeah. And if you think blood is gross, let me tell you about semen.
Yeah,
'Cause
cum is
semen's
gross, dude.
Yeah, semen's gross. Yeah.
Semen is so gross. You don't have to fucking swallow our blood, so fuck off.
Exactly. Yes. Now you can, but you
Yeah.
know.
Please don't.
Shelby, what do you think about I know, yeah. Sorry, not to
please
What
don't.
do I think about swallowing
this
semen
took
and blood?
a turn. It's so funny because we were just talking about promoting our show to like teen audiences.
I
Saying
have that-
worse stuff when I was 15,
I was gonna
16.
say,
okay?
they're gonna learn it somewhere.
Yeah.
I was
Fair enough.
scheduled for that meeting too today, and I was thinking about all of you and all of us just being like, well, I was like, yeah, I'm going to talk to the teen people next week. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe some episodes are better to promote than others, you know.
For
but it'll
sure.
be fun.
You
we,
know,
I feel like we are horny responsibly, though.
Yeah,
you know, we're
yes.
raunchy responsibly. So,
Mhm.
well,
Yeah.
Shelby, what do you think about Silver and my tech? Sorry, I got us off on this whole period tangent.
I'm off on it now too. But okay, I will say with my tech, I want to talk about like, does he deserve his fate? Because this is kind of like a trolley problem I've had in my mind since when I was young, back in my day.
Shelby
I
Love.
remember
It's been 86 years.
it's been 84 years.
Or, yeah.
I don't remember how many. But I remember this happening weirdly a lot at my high school, and I remember one time in particular talking to a guy friend about this, and we had this quandary together of it did not happen to either of us, but we knew this girl and we knew this guy, and they had dated for a while, but then they broke up. And then she was very upset and like heartbroken about it. And so it was kind of one of those situations, look, happens to the best of us, where she was like, I'll do anything to just be in your life. Because especially when you're young,
hormones
think
are raging, emotions
the
are
way to
high.
be. Like, you're like, I will crawl, that like, it's very dramatic. I'll crawl through glass for you. I don't even care what you're doing. I just want you in my life, And so he like, they decide, I don't remember exactly how it happened. I think she offered to like, yeah, let's have sex. And so he was like, okay. And he did say, hey, we are not going to be together after this.
Just because we do this.
So he was like my tech, where it was like, hey, this isn't for me. Just letting you know. And so they did. And then he was like, okay, like, time for you to go. And she was like devastated.
That's such a messy gray area because
it turned into her like
he
was real bad. She had like a nervous breakdown about it. I don't even remember the I don't remember like the extent to which, but it was like really bad. And I remember it was even then at our very young ages being like, who's wrong? Is anyone wrong? Is it like, what do you do with this situation?
Yeah.
And that's with my tech, where it's like, yeah, I can see how he was really like, I don't know, unfeeling and uncaring. Does he
just kind of in it for the whole? Is really what it sounds like.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, maybe I kind of do think he like, I wasn't mad when he died. I will say, I'm like, that's the thing. I was not mad. I understood Golden's reaction completely. I thought it was weird that Silver was invited to the wedding at all. And it felt like,
yes.
And this is the thing too. I was also wrestling with myself of like, well, he's a young, like at that age, that's how guys are. They're very like, they don't care about feelings. They're like, wait a second though. That's why they've continued to be that way, because of thoughts like that. Like, well, that's just how guys are at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
boys will be
so
boys.
then again, for feminism, I think he did deserve his fate. I think he did need to die.
And I was the sister too. I'm her sister. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'd fucking do it. I
killed
have
my
a
sister,
sister, so I
prepare
will
to
do
die.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I would like to remind everyone, this is a fictional story, so we talk about this symbolically as an example. Because I agree with you.
Rip out his throat, ladies. Your best friend gets wronged, go tear his throat out.
But I like this as an example to any young men who might be watching this. Hey, maybe you did tell her, I'm not going to date you if we have sex, but you need to consider how she's going to respond
That's
to
gonna,
that
yeah,
too,
like,
but
like,
she's
that
also
movie is
very
smart.
much but
Yeah.
also use your fucking brain and your heart
Yeah,
and realize like
they
she's
don't.
in
They
love
use
with
their
you, so you should
wieners.
not have sex with her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it is kind of I don't know. I do have some sympathy for him, because I think he just
Yeah, but I also am like, if
But I
this
do think he
happened
deserves
to
to die.
me, I would be very angry.
I
I
would
know
too.
myself. Yeah.
I think this is really like, I hate to say it, but it's the stakes thing. And I think this is like such a deeply ingrained thing in our culture because like, yeah, you said like he's thinking with his, like we say like, oh guys think, oh, he was thinking with his dick,
Yeah.
thinking with his small head,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. And it's like, because what is the consequence for like,
For him,
whereas like people with uterus, it's like you can get like pregnant.
it can
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
pregnant.
it can
You
rewrite
get
your
murdered.
entire life.
And
Or
this-
your
now, if you're in
body-
Tennessee, it could kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, like the stakes are a lot higher, and so it's
Mhm.
like I think that's this is like boiling it down very basic, and I know this
Yeah.
does not apply to everybody, but I think there's an element of it there that it's like, well, it's just one time, like I'll deal with the emotional fallout, but it's like I think for a lot of women and uterus people, like it's like, well, the stakes are so much higher. It's not just the emotional part of it,
Yeah.
and I think that's what sometimes gets lost in the mix. It's like
I think you're right. Yeah.
it's not always that simple. So because it's like you enter into something knowing the emotional stakes, but also knowing that like even if you're like taking protection or pills or whatever your situation, there's always a slight possibility, right?
Yeah.
You
Never
always
zero.
know every single time you're having sex, there's a slight possibility that could happen.
Mhm.
And I don't think, and it's not their own fault because it's literally that's how their bodies are like. They don't have that feeling, so for them it's like, well, I can deal with the emotional part.
Yeah,
of it. But it's like,
Exactly. Yeah.
you don't have
When
to
you-
contend with that little tiny voice in the back of your head that's like, just so you know, you could possibly get knocked up.
Because
And
I
I love-
also felt that way when I was like, I don't care because I didn't know, like we weren't like together,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I tell you what, when they're mean to you after, you definitely are like, oh, maybe I am emotional and I should have
Yeah.
waited until it was someone that I cared about.
Well,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
that
Something you
feeling
learn the hard
like
way
of
sometimes.
yeah, it's that feeling of like, whoa, I was even giving you like carte blanche sex, and then you were on top of it. Like you got to double down. Like, hey, this is nothing. You
Yeah.
are nothing to me.
It's
And
like, you couldn't have waited till the next day, maybe.
Yeah.
yeah, or waited for me to get crazy. Like it's like
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
heal in her case, it's like, give it a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
She's gonna have a gnarly scar, but like this, I could never put someone through a maiming of their body. Okay,
Mhm.
going through surgical, like just knives and cut. I could not do that to someone and then just dip out and
Yeah.
marry someone else. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do like that it is his choice. It's not that like in the Disney movie, it's Ursula disguised as Vanessa who casts
Yeah.
a spell
Totally.
on
Yeah.
him. It is that he makes this choice. And Sammy, at your wedding, I was sitting next to Billy Hanson's wife, and I cannot remember her name, but I was
Erin.
obsessed with her. Erin.
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
her because she wrote on the first season of Bridgerton, and I was geeking out because I loved that because it is an example of a man taking responsibility for his own birth
Mhm.
control because the whole first season is about this guy who does not want to have kids. And you know what he fucking does? He doesn't have sex with his wife
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
doesn't want to have kids.
He
Now,
does everything but, and she's like, no.
exactly.
I'm trying to
She's
hop
like,
on it.
and I mean, there's a lot more to that story.
Yeah.
So but I wrote a whole thing about it for Consequence back in the day when it was on because I was like, we just don't see men take that kind of responsibility in pop culture very
Exactly.
often. And it was incredible. And I was like,
Refreshing,
thank you for writing that.
especially in something like that.
Yeah.
I do think that as like what happens to him is like less of a moral punishment and more of like a thematic consequence. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of
Karma.
becomes the final casualty of this like really awful human world that refuses to accommodate or accept people who are different. Like that's like it's the final nail in the coffin, that final like this is how you learn, and I do think that The Little Mermaid, the original story, like he was a gay man and he wrote it because his lover left him. And so it is someone scorned, there is like that's in the original text. So it's a feel bad ending, and like we changed it into a feel good because it's not, but like we like that is our preferred ending. So I do like that the original and this one have the really abrupt, brutal ending because that's how this book was written. It was the text was that it was supposed to be it's about a heartbroken man, and you can see that in this movie, and I really love that. I did before we move on, wanted to say, like, I explained the freak show symbolism and bodily
Yeah.
exploitation. I thought was really interesting. Like, I read something that said the movie frames the sisters' regular band performances as a modern twist on historical freak shows. While their angelic voices captivate customers, their main economic value to the restaurant owners comes from the explicit spectacle of their physical transformation from legs to tail. This commodification directly mirrors the exploitive structures of patriarchal societies that simultaneously fetishize and financially strip non-normative female bodies. And I was like, man, which I thought was, because in my original notes that I took off because I was like, I'm in the wrong area, was I wrote human trafficking, like, because I was like, it felt like that, like these
Question mark?
girls that,
Yeah.
yeah, it just said with a question mark at the end, and I was like, oh, I'm going in the wrong direction. But then as I did my research, it is exploitive. Like, they are using them for money. They're not paying them. And that is what human trafficking is. So, you know, it's not always sexual, like human trafficking. And this is obviously very sexual, but there's a job here too. They are doing work and they're not being compensated for it.
And it's not sex work either.
It's not sex work. It's
sex
come
work
look at my freakish body. You know, it is a freak show. And I really liked that. And then, for the Berlin Wall allegory, like, someone was like, her agonizing surgery serves as a dark allegory for Eastern Europe after the fall of the Berlin Wall. While exchanging her tail for legs promises her bipedal mobility and human status, it permanently strips her of her native fluid identity. She can no longer move freely between the worlds of sea and land, mimicking how the initial utopian fantasy of moving freely between East and West dissolved into trauma and rigid free market structures. So the director has a lot to say in this film, and you really wouldn't think that burlesque killer mermaids was gonna leave you with, you know, like,
Berlin Wall,
yeah, or like freak show. Like, there's so many things that she is saying here, with such a, like, you know, when you pitch this movie to someone, you're not like, oh, they're gonna really like dismantle these types of issues. And these are my favorite types of movies that do that.
Same.
It's very possession, because that's what, you know,
I was thinking Possession too.
is
Yeah.
all about that, and divorce and heartache, and
Yeah.
that's why you can't, lightning in a bottle, man. You can't do it twice. But
Exactly.
I
Also,
know.
R.I.P. Sam Neill.
I know.
Very
Oh God.
sad about
Like,
that.
he probably was like, I can't see this remake. I gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
and not the, sorry, but like, I've seen the pictures of Margaret Qualley, and it's like, oh, so
I know. I've been looking at them all day. I know.
just her costume. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And she's like faking, trying to look like, you know, like going through inner turmoil. It's just like, stop,
Come
like,
on
get out
now.
of here with
Yeah.
this.
And I love her. But
I
like,
do too. But I just
we-
don't think this is a smart idea, in my humble opinion. But
well, and
that's all I got.
on that note, I do want to talk about the larger message of this movie and the feel bad ending in our next category, Good for Her.
Claiming she could take it no more, the young mother released the emergency brake, allowing her car to roll backwards into the nearby lake.
Good for her.
Yes, we know murder is bad. My tech might deserve his fate, but you should not, mermaids, I'm talking to you, be ripping people's hearts out. But if you do it, just slither away real quick, because I'm not gonna, snitches get stitches, and I'm not gonna rat you out.
She really did have the body of the merman from Cabin in the Woods. Like, it was that kind of like,
She really
I
did.
know. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is historically
Perfect.
accurate mermaidery,
Yes.
you know. I also was obsessed with her we're all gloomy as hell line, you know. That
Love
was one of
that
those like
song.
Yeah.
it was such a clunky translation, but I was also like, I kind of love it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so weird that I like, and it repeats at the end, like it because like we get a reprise later, you know. Okay, so I want to kind of roll these into one question. So, what do we think of this interpretation of the Little Mermaid, and is this good for her horror? Shelby, what do you think?
I really enjoy this interpretation of Little Mermaid. You don't get to see the seafoam ending. I don't know if I've ever actually seen it on screen.
I don't think I have either. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've
And
always
this
been
was
a huge
pretty good. I thought it looked like there was way more seafoam than I thought there was going to be.
It was
Yeah,
her
and it
whole
looked
yeah,
like
it's her whole body.
foam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it was
loved it.
great.
And
Yeah,
I loved
so
when he was like, "What the fuck is on me?"
Yeah, and it was
You
like
know?
it was like stuck to him. Yeah.
Mhm.
I loved that. I loved the ending. I really love the original story, and I love that they or I guess modernized it, as in brought it to the 80s. They contemporized it, you know, and I really enjoyed it. And is this good for her horror? Like, it's one of those like kind of, but she did lose her sister, you know, and like Silver does, you know, I guess they both gain a freedom in some sort of way. Silver in the
Yeah.
end is with her love when she dissipates into sea foam, and Golden gets to go swim to Disneyland. So I love how we've just decided that's where she's going. She's swimming.
I know, yeah,
she's where
exactly.
she's
Well,
going.
I mean, she's going to hang out with Ariel, you know?
Yeah.
And
But yes, oh my god, she
Yeah.
wanted to kiss the girl, if you know
she
what I
did.
mean.
La, 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 la. She did. She
So
definitely
good. She did. She
licked
gets
those
Swing by
skins.
Universal
Yes.
and join the water world stunt.
Yes.
Join the Water World Stunt
Honestly,
Show.
that's
Thank
what
you,
it's
Rachel.
missing.
Yes,
God, I
this is what it's
forgot
all
about
about.
Like
This
I,
is-
I would like her on a jet ski going through those
Her on a
flame
jet ski
hoops and
through the
shit.
flames.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
With
God.
her tail
Yes.
and like
Yes.
side saddle, you know? That would be
Yes.
so
And it
cool.
splashes you in the splash zone.
Exactly. And you know, we
Yeah.
see Triton, who has clearly been living on land for a while now, who is
Yeah.
also still just kind of like miserable and shitty. And so like she
Mhm.
got a glimpse into like all of her fates of like, yeah, I mean,
If she stays there, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And so I would say yes, it is good for her. It is good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on who the her is, you
That's
know?
what
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
and I guess I'm
to
going with
say.
Golden
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
It does feel kind of good for Golden.
It's not good for Chrisia. She's
No.
not having a good time at the
It's
I
not.
like she was giving vibes of like off screen she's about to go like hang from a ceiling fan. Like
yeah,
that's
no,
what I
she
was feeling.
very
Yeah.
on her way out. Not
Yeah,
like she's
yeah.
like giving up. When you're
Yeah.
smoking a cig on a bench at your son's wedding and watching your
Mhm.
ex-husband act a fucking fool on the dance floor,
Yeah.
you definitely feel
Well,
a
your
lot of
mer
feelings.
daughters like murder
Yeah.
your son
Yeah.
and
Well,
like
and
one
like
of 'em-
as Golden is walking in, she's kind of like, "Can I come with you? I want to come with you." And then she's
Yeah,
like
you can
remembering
yes.
she has
Like I don't want to
lives,
be
you know?
here either. Like
Yeah. Rachel, what do you think? What do you think about the interpretation, the message, and is this good for her?
I love this interpretation because I do think it broadens the
Yeah.
interpretation. Like I said, it's not just about like young women. Like you can interpret this so many different ways, and I love that. And I really like, especially like with Golden, I like that we get that interaction with her and the cop to kind of get like a queer reading there.
Yeah.
And not just like even, I mean, obviously it's queer because they're both, women in that moment.
Yeah.
But like also just this idea that like this cop character, this woman finds Golden sexy as she is.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
accepting of her tail in her natural state as she is. She's
She's riding it.
attracted. She's
Yeah.
riding that
Yeah.
tail.
Yeah.
Like she's
Going for
into it to have
Mhm.
a contrast with my tech, who's like, this is unfamiliar and I don't know this and I'm grossed out by it. Whereas she's like, let's figure this out. Like, I think you're hot. Let's like,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't care if you're a
Here's
mermaid.
a glass of water and let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm attracted to you.
Yeah.
And
Like how
that's
seductive
enough.
they are when
I
they
know
do
when
it.
she pours the water.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
So I think
It's like she
that's
almost
really,
prefers her in mermaid form.
you know,
Like-
and obviously for a variety of reasons, we don't get that. It's
Yeah.
a very heteronormative reading of it
Yeah.
that kind of puts Ariel in that sort of
Well, the grand prize is the prince, you know?
exactly.
Like,
And I like that we have a little bit of both here.
yeah.
Because I think that's important because we like for better, for worse, or whatever, that's Ariel's world is unfortunately a world that's much more familiar to a lot of
Mhm.
us
Yeah.
versus like Golden's where it's like,
Yeah.
no, but I like that Golden is ultimately the one that gets to swim away and gets to be herself and make her own decisions.
Yeah.
There is a deleted scene with the cop.
Whoa.
You said that you didn't get enough of her, and
Yeah.
I think that's because it was deleted. But
Mm.
I think it's for a good reason. That's
No.
it's on the Criterion Blu-ray. Just because she shoots her. And that's
What?
why she's stumbling into the water because she killed my tech and the cop is there. So then she like kills her, and that's why she's like stumbling because she's been shot.
I was
But
wondering
I
why she
think-
was stumbling like that. Okay.
But I think that's probably why it got deleted because then it's like, well, that's not good because that's like
Yeah.
the one positive like interpretation, and then so now this like queer experience is ended with her
yeah,
killing
death.
her, like
Yeah.
her like lover has shot her, like that's not good. So I
Yeah.
think that's probably why they excised it. So just in case you're curious why you didn't get more of the cop.
Interesting.
But yeah, you can see it on the Blu-ray, but it
why
does
was the cop
change.
invited to the wedding? Everybody was invited to this wedding.
Yeah, it's a small town. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a wedding on a houseboat,
But,
you know?
Yeah, I love this interpretation, and it's it's surreal. This movie's very surreal,
It
and it doesn't
definitely
explain a lot. So I think that that's really nice that you can take from it what you will. And is it good
Yeah.
for her? Yes, kinda. It's good. I think Golden ultimately like she stands by who she is. She's leaving as her herself with her integrity attack. But yeah, she loses her sister. Like that sucks. Like I don't think that's good for her.
Yeah.
And obviously like Silver I think followed her heart, but is that good for her? I don't know. So
Yeah.
it's like a bittersweet good for
Yeah.
her, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think growing up is kind of realizing that all of the Disney movies you loved as a child have really disturbing messages
Histories?
underneath.
Yes.
Exactly. Or, like we can interpret The Little Mermaid like she's got to give up her voice to get her man. He won't like her if she actually talks,
Yeah.
or like with Beauty and the Beast, that's a whole Stockholm syndrome thing. Like, and that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, I really like the message here because it is like, hey, don't give up your entire life. Don't change everything about who you are for somebody you're not sure about.
And that's what the messaging of The Little Mermaid is.
Yes,
Like, she
it
literally
is.
changes everything about. She loses her voice, her beautiful singing voice, and like everything about her, and just to get a guy. And it's like the right guy doesn't want you to change those things.
Exactly.
So,
Now, the thing I do like about The Little Mermaid, the Disney, is we do get that she wants to be a human aside from Eric. She just likes it. But yes, she still is like, I just want to be your wife. And if I can't be your wife, then what
they
else
really
is there?
started us early on that messaging.
They sure fucking did,
Man, like you're gonna grow up and you're gonna get married and that's it. Like
I
that
used
is
to
what
want
they
her
wanted
wedding
us.
dress too, because it's
Oh
so
god, it's because you
poofy.
grew up. It's such an 80s
It
wedding
really
dress.
is. It's very
It reminds
Princess
me of like the
Di.
wedding singer. Yeah, like the big poofy, and like the wedding dress in this movie is also very similar to that. She has the big puffy
She
sleeve.
does. I noticed that too. Yeah.
It looks very similar. So that's interesting. I didn't think.
Yeah. Well, Sammy, what do you think about the message and good for her, the good for her-iness of it?
Yeah, no, I think, instead of a magical fairy tale, instead we get a kind of grueling reality that critiques this patriarchal exploitation and I think the commodification of immigrant bodies, what we do with people who need help and that are kind of they'll take the bare minimum because that's what they just need help. You know what I mean? And how, talk about Zeus's law to anyone who's seen the Odyssey, like these people don't treat them very well, like as they welcome them to their home, to this bar and everything. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they take advantage of these two girls. So it's not like they have good intentions. And I think the Disney one kind of focuses more on a brave woman overcoming a very distinct bad woman. It's very like a great princess versus evil fat queen. They make her they try to make her so grotesque to us, and it's like I like that the other girl that he chooses, she's just a girl. She almost looks kind of like her. It's not like that big of a difference. None of the bad people are like these gross, poor unfortunate souls.
Yeah, and in the original story, it's just like a pretty nice girl. I remember that,
but she doesn't normal.
Yes.
In air quotes.
So I just like that we don't get a happily ever after because that was the intended message. I also think that I read, I thought this was interesting, that the cabaret owners are like the sea witch. They are the ones that they profit off of the freak show traction and they capitalize on the mermaid's desire to belong, and extracts their labor while kind of trapping them in this business, this hamster wheel of working. So I was like, okay, yeah, because I was like, who is the villain really? And it is the people, it's everyone who works at the cabaret lounge. So I like that take on that. But as for if it's good for her, I mean, sort of. I think that the sentiment is there for good for her. We can, learn from these characters, but I think what ultimately happens to both of these women, or all of the women, honestly, in this movie, is it doesn't feel very good for her. You know what I mean? I think one is dead and one will forever miss her sister, her sister soulmate, also they're supposed to be children. So yeah, that doesn't feel it doesn't feel like what happens to them feels good for her, but this is a classic case of the messaging feels good for her type of.
I completely agree. The good for her I see in it is finally really reckoning with what the story is saying.
It's for us. It's good for me.
Exactly. Yeah, it's good for me. And let's find out if we would die for it. Although I think listeners, you might be able to guess. But let's find out in our next category. Die for me.
Look at her. I would die for her. I would kill for her. Either way, what bliss.
Okay, so let's give our final thoughts. I'm gonna die for this movie. I don't know how often I'll put it on, but because there are just the Scar thing kind of freaked me
Sure,
out.
if you were going to, honestly. I
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
I
Yeah.
didn't like. I think I'm just getting better with scars. It didn't
Yeah.
really freak me out. Also, I peaked a little bit and I knew it was coming. But because I think
there's no shame in that. Some people need
that
to make
was
sure the dog isn't dead. Okay.
exactly, yeah. If I had gone into that blind, I think it would have really.
They're gonna
freaked
make a
me out.
website where it's like, is there a
Is
scar?
there a scar in here?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and Does the Dog Die has that site has
It does
a
have that
ton
stuff
of,
on it.
like,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
a fault. I
Okay.
think there's a little too many there. It's like I don't need to know every single thing about this movie. Anyways, that's another conversation. But yeah, I'm gonna die for this. I really, especially the conversation that we've had about it. I love an ambiguous movie. I love one that lets me come to my own conclusions, and I love a bold, surreal movie that's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna put this song in here. I don't know if it makes sense, but I like it. Here you go. I don't think it's perfect. I think and we've talked about some of the flaws, particularly with Chrissia, but I really liked this a lot, and I think the music is good. These two actresses are fantastic as these mermaids. So yeah, gonna die for it. Shelby, what about you? Are you gonna die for The Lure?
I definitely am. Like you said, the actresses, they looked like lost creatures in the movie. Like the something they both did with their face was just beautifully done. And it was like there's this like curiosity that wasn't just like this naivete, like it was just like they were curious as curious as everybody else was about them. And I just think that's not easy to do as an actor, especially when you're singing. And yeah, I loved the music. I wish I knew all the correct translations because some of it was a little, it was a little stilted for a direct translation, but the music was beautiful. Some of it I was like trying to sing along with after they'd like repeat themselves a few times. I was like, I think I got it. Yeah, and then
it's
I didn't.
hard.
I totally
It's really hard. The only song, like aside from El Fortuno, where I'm just giving gobbledygook, is there's a song by Regina Spektor called Apres Moi, and it's I like learned all of the sounds for the Russian speaking part, and like I one time put it on in the car, and Mike was like, since when do you like speak Russian? I was like, I don't. I just hear it in this song.
I hear it,
and I can make.
I live it in this song.
I make the onomatopoeias. Okay,
that was most of my college voice lessons. Yes,
you
like,
don't know what you're saying. You just go with what it looks like, and if people think you're doing it right, you go confident enough, people will believe it.
But yeah, I feel like there's a few songs out there that randomly switch into another language, like like Bad Romance, even with Lady Gaga. She speaks French for a second. I've never learned the actual French. I just kind of go along with it. It sounds the same. Yeah,
it took me many years.
No one in my car's complaining about it when I'm singing it loud.
Yeah. Well, Sammy, what about you? Are you gonna die for The Lure?
I am dying for this movie. I adored the messaging of it that we've been talking about for the last couple of hours, and I loved the color palette. Like, I would love to see, that like that page that does all of the colors, like
the colors. That's so
like, I would love to see what this one looks like, because it's just it is all of my favorite colors. Like Mermaid Month, most of like the two movies. Actually, there's only one that I've seen, and I love it. It's that movie I will attribute to like me falling in love with the color teal. Like Aquamarine is that movie, and same with Mamma Mia, because there's so much blue. I just love the color blue. So I loved looking at this movie. I loved the pastels, I love the sequins, I loved the glitter. I loved the weird little like they're stewardesses, and then the next they're they have like the little costume.
They have like the rock ones, like
it's
metal
so
ones.
Cool. I loved
it.
I loved how they changed, like the costuming was just incredible, and I had a lot of fun, so much so that I watched it twice. But I think at the core, like what makes me like what I would suggest this movie to people, like-minded people like us, is that they're like they spark the fear, like they are the ones in control, or should have been in control, and their cannibalistic nature can't be really contained by humans in our societal structure. So they're both simultaneously this like object of sexual desire and a predator, which I feel like directly threatens the structures that we put in place to fetishize and assimilate people. And men don't like that. They don't like it at all. So I think that's why we see many of the men threatened by them. And that's why it's like good to see them eaten, because it's like they underestimate them. That guy at the bar, like you would never go home. We know not to go home with some stranger who just comes up to the bar and talks to you like that. You know what I mean? So he sees her as weak, and he learns the hard way that she's not so weak. So anything, I love that. Anything that'll do something like I'm dead. I'm taking off.
Anything,
I'm
if a
seafoam.
woman rips a man's heart out with her teeth, I'm gonna die for that.
Yeah,
You know, that's pretty
like
cool.
the straight to the jugular was sick.
Mhm.
Yep.
I loved it
And then ripped
because
him out.
she took away his voice too.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Well, Rachel, what about you? Are you gonna die for the lure?
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this. Like
I
I
know.
said, I don't know what's happening. I don't know who I am anymore. But I think like ultimately it does have a lot of elements that I like. I like the ambiguity. I like this movie's just weird. It's
Yeah.
quirky. It's surreal. Like it's very unique and self-assured, and I think that's what I like. It's also just very dreamy and like atmospheric, and it's got a vibe, and that goes a long way. But more than that, like I do like the story, and I like some of the choices that it made. So yeah, I'll absolutely die for this movie. And I will say, like, enjoy this color palette while you have it, because then our next film, not quite
Yeah.
the same color
I
palette,
Yeah.
just
never.
the head
This is
up.
also a no scene.
I haven't seen it
you,
either.
you know, listen, it's
A little
I
more
love
fishy.
it. It's
Yeah.
yes. So just
It's
it's
Japanese, is
different.
it not?
No,
No, it's
Okay.
Spanish.
Oh.
Okay,
Ooh.
I was like, I imagine it's in another language, just
Yeah.
because it sounds
Yeah.
like a foreign film.
We don't do
It
Americans
does.
like this. I mean, we don't do
Yeah.
Americans like we don't mermaids like this as much in America.
Exactly.
Like,
Our mermaids
Yeah.
get married in Princess Di dresses.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah. This is another different sort of European interpretation of a bigger story. But yeah, the color palette's just very different. That's all I'm gonna
Okay.
say. So
Well, I
enjoy
don't,
it while you enjoy it while it lasts.
I like
Yep.
colors and I like the dye. As long as I can see the screen, that's really all that matters these days.
Yep.
yeah,
And we will
honestly, it's a lot to ask these days too to be able to see what's on
It-
screen.
yes,
so.
exactly. Yeah. And we're going to tell you what movie that is in our last category. Let's wrap up with what's coming
We're
next.
wrapping up. We be wrapping up.
Unlock the next configuration. And then the last. No. I've done enough. Enough is a myth.
Okay, so if you want to follow the show, you can do that on Twitter at The Lady K Pod and on Instagram at The Lady Killers Pod. And I'm trying my hand at TikTok, so find us at Lady Killers there too. You can also email us at ladykillersrage@gmail.com. Please join us on Patreon. We are having so much fun over there. We're getting a lot of really fun comments and interaction too, you know. And if you want to hear us talk about the Odyssey, that's where you can do it. You can find me at Jim Ferratu. Normally I talk about the Losers Club, which we are talking about Stephen King there, and the Girls on the Boys, where we're talking about the boys. But I wanted to plug a piece I wrote about Ursula a couple of years ago. It was my last the last thing I wrote for my witch column at Room Org Online. So it was really cool. It was to correspond with the new live action Little Mermaid, which I did really like Melissa McCarthy as Ursula in that, even though I have lots of thoughts about just live action Disney anyways. But that was a fun column. So check it out. You can just search Jen Adams Ursula and it'll probably
Or
come
maybe
up.
you should share it on the Patreon.
I should share it. Okay, yes, I'm going to share it on Patreon. So that's where you can find it.
Good idea,
too. Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah,
we
that's a
have
good
a
idea.
spot for this
We
stuff.
sure
Yeah,
do.
we really do.
Well, Rachel, where can listeners find you?
You can find me over on Halloweenies this month. Wait, August. Yeah, back Hellraiser territory. But we've got some fun one-off stuff too. We're gonna be doing a special revisit of Manhunter, talking about some of the changes and stuff for the anniversary. And I've never had a chance to talk about that movie, so I am very excited to, have my say heard on that movie.
Get your manhunt on.
Get your manhunt on. And so that'll be a fun month. I can't remember everything else that we're doing, but I promise you it'll be fun.
And Sammy, where can listeners find you?
You can find me at SRK Doll on Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter. And right now, like, you're gonna find me on the couch, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm hurting really bad right now.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's been 6 hours since my last
Oh.
painkiller.
Well, it's pain pill o'clock. So
And
Shelby,
next time I won't be this way. So
I mean, I
knock
think
on
you're
wood.
great.
Yeah, you've been great.
fantastic. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you're fine.
okay, sweet. Because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't know how I'm gonna sit upright. And Mike
Yeah.
was like, you got it.
You've
I
been
was like,
sitting
did it.
upright so well.
You just need
yeah.
to pour some
Thanks,
water
guys.
on yourself. And
Yes.
then,
Yeah.
it solves all your problems, Shelby, where can listeners find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Shelby B. Novak, or on the Bloody Disgusting podcast every Wednesday, or the Scary to Sleep podcast every Friday.
And that's it for our episode on The Lure. Sorry, my mind just went blank for a second. Thank you so much to my panel of mermaid experts and listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to hear from you. We love your comments. We've asked a couple of times. We're always asking you weird things to chime in on. And you know what? You are not disappointing us. So,
no, they're not. They really came through. They've really come through.
And this episode already came out, but we'll do another one. We have an anonymous question form on our Instagram and on our Patreon, where you can send us anonymous questions, but we will only be answering them on Patreon. So if you're not a Patreon patron, you can send us a question, but you can't hear it unless you go to
So
Patreon.
if you want to hear interesting details on whether we shave our legs or not,
we did get that question. Yeah,
I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to kink shame you. All right.
I know, exactly. Yeah. And I've got some thoughts on this whole thing.
I have seen,
and a question of my own. You know?
Many a celebrity that I've thought, how often do they shave their legs? So, so I don't blame you. I don't knock
the
it.
answer might surprise you.
Exactly.
I think kind of
click for more.
Yeah. Yes, do click on our Patreon page and subscribe there, because that's where we're talking about fun. It's just been really fun. So thank you for the people who are already there and having fun with us. And this was the first of Mermaid Month, and we've got another mermaid film coming up for you. I'm gonna do my mermaid gang song. It looks. I feel like I'm on like The Sopranos.
My fingers keep wanting to do the heart. Like my fingers are just.
It's because
we love
millennials.
mermaids.
We're millennials and we like.
We are millennials.
I can't do the new heart that the Gen Zers.
The
do.
new heart where they do it with their fingers.
Yeah, it's like wrong. I don't know.
Oh, I did it.
Yes, that is it.
That's it.
I'm young again, everybody. I did it.
Here we go.
We are
no, it's not.
I know. Let's get out of here. Okay, so we are going to be back next week. We've teased that movie. We are going to be watching Dagon. So
getting real Lovecraftian with
I can't, it's the Dayman song. I can't not sing it. I've been doing that. Every time I see it on the calendar, I just like Dagon. Like
we sing that in my office so many times, and then it gets stuck in our head till the end of time.
It'll be stuck in all of your heads.
I know, yeah. So we are going to be back next week with Dagon. But until then, remember, ladies and ladies, support women's rights, support women's wrongs, and how come you never play volleyball with me? Shit, I can't find a button.